Kicking off our countdown at number 10 is Sophia Bush. One Tree Hill fans were absolutely thrilled when she got married to her former co-star Chad Michael Murray. They were on-screen lovers, so when they began dating in real life too, fans thought it would be like the perfect love story that we all hoped for, like me especially. They ended up getting married at a very young age, Sophia being 22 and Chad being 23 at the time. But they ended up separating just 5 months after getting married. Their split was a big dramatic scandal because reports claimed that Chad had cheated on her with Paris Hilton while they were filming the horror movie House of Wax. Sophia has talked about it in recent years and said they were young and had no business getting married in the first place. She also said she felt a lot of pressure from production for them to get married. She said the producers often pushed them to be together for the sake of the show, and a big reason why she went through with the marriage was because she felt that she would let the producers down, and also the fans. It was a short-lived marriage, but the worst part was they had to work on the show together for years after they got divorced. That'd be so awkward. Up next, number 9, we have Kim Kardashian and Kris Humphrey. It's hard to say which one of them regretted the marriage more, so I'm gonna put both of them because it seems pretty mutual. Their relationship and wedding was highly documented on her reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Their relationship moved very quickly. They were only publicly together for a few months before he proposed and then engaged for just 90 days before they tied the knot. During the time, many people thought it was just for the reality show and the fact that they were getting their own special event called Kim's Fairy Tale Wedding, a Kardashian event. Their wedding aired and ratings were very high, obviously. It earned them 4.4 million viewers the first night and then 4 million the second night. But Kim and Kris had their issues, which we saw on the TV show, if you watched it. After just 72 hours of marriage, Kim filed for divorce for irreconcilable differences and listed the separation date as the date that she filed it. Like, she wanted it to immediately be put in place. She later admitted that yes, she loved Kris, but that she got caught up in everything else that came with it, like the media and the money. Kris later responded to her legal papers and claimed that their 72-hour marriage was based on fraud and that Kim was trying to boost the ratings for their family TV show at the time. Their divorce was finalized in 2013, 2 years after she filed it. It was a very long legal battle, to say the least. Sliding into number 8, we got Miley Cyrus. There is no denying the love between Miley and her ex-husband, Liam Hemsworth. They were actually together for over a decade on and off. They were engaged twice before tying the knot officially back in December of 2018. Maybe regret isn't the right word when it comes to their marriage, but Miley opened up about the reasoning for their divorce and revealed that she got married for the wrong reasons. She loved him and said that she still does and always will, but admitted that their marriage was a distraction. Their decision to get married came after they tragically lost their home in the Malibu wildfires. She explained that she lost everything inside her home and that she filled that void with their relationship. She told Howard Stern, I quote, "I lost everything. I just clung to what I had left of that house, which was me and him." But after getting married, she quickly realized that there was just too much conflict in their relationship and that it was not what they wanted. They got divorced officially just 7 months after being married, and she released a song called What the F Do I Know? And one of the lyrics is, I quote, "Maybe getting married just to cause a distraction," which just confirmed the things that she said in her interview. Moving on to number 7, we have Britney Spears. Maybe you forgot the time that she got married to a childhood friend of hers, Jason Alexander. Back in 2004, the two of them got married in Las Vegas and set the record for one of the shortest marriages in history. Worse than Kim and Kris. They were married for just 55 hours before Britney called it off and filed for an annulment. It all began and ended on New Year's in 2004 when she invited him to Las Vegas to celebrate the new year. Jason spoke about their relationship in 2012 and revealed that they had been childhood friends for many years, but that they were friends with benefits as they got older. So how did that turn into marriage? He said that they were very intoxicated when they jokingly said that they should get married that night. But Jason did have feelings for her behind closed doors, and so he went with it because he liked her. He said, "I went with my feelings. I was in love with her. I feel like she felt the same way." However, Britney did not feel the same way, and her annulment papers said, lacked understanding of her actions to the extent that she was incapable of agreeing to the marriage. Jason admitted that he was actually hurt by her words and her decision to end the marriage so quickly. Rolling into number 6, we have Russell Brand. In more recent interviews, Katy Perry and Russell have said that they do not regret their marriage with one another. But it was not always this way. They got married in 2010, which lasted 14 months before they called it quits. Well, him. When they first split, Russell did not have very nice things to say about her or their relationship, and his opinions stayed that way for a few years. In his 2015 documentary called Brand, A Second Coming, he said their short-lived marriage ended because of fame and said that she was the kind of person that he hated. He said, "I'm associated with the very thing I detest. Vapid, vacuous, plastic, constructed, mindless celebrity." Quite the thing to say about someone that you once loved. But his opinion and view on the marriage has softened up in the last 5 years. He now says that he looks at their experience more fondly now and said that he feels warm towards her, calling her an extraordinary woman. As for Katy, she has always been firm on the fact that she does not regret getting married to him and claims to have loved him very much. And if you haven't heard the story, it was actually Russell's decision to end the marriage. He actually texted her that he wanted a divorce on December 31st, 2011. A text message. Halfway through our list at number 5, we have Drew Barrymore. The actress has been in the Hollywood spotlight since a very young age, and at 19 years old, she jumped into a marriage with Jeremy Thomas, who was 31 years old at the time. Their marriage is also one of the shortest marriages in history, only lasting a couple of days. Drew has openly talked about the marriage and divorce and said, "I realized my mistake on the day that I married him. It wasn't because she didn't love him though. Their relationship moved very quickly and she was also very young. Just 6 months into dating, they decided to get married very spontaneously. They were partying with a group of friends at 4 a.m. when the conversation came up that they should get married because they were so in love at the time. Jeremy arranged a 24-hour minister to perform the ceremony at 5:30 a.m. that same morning. They changed their outfits quickly and had their little ceremony on the roof of a bar. The next day, Drew actually had to leave to film Boy on the Side, and they were supposed to go to Hawaii for their honeymoon afterwards, after she was done filming. Jeremy revealed that Drew ended up going to Hawaii alone and then called him while she was there and ended things. Yikes. In the number 4 spot is Chris Judd. The dancer was actually married to Jennifer Lopez back in 2001, but revealed why it did not last very long. The two of them fell in love while on set of her video Love Don't Cost a Thing back in 2001. They moved very quickly also, getting married just 1 month of being engaged. Their marriage lasted 9 months and not longer than that because of the famous lifestyle. He explained what tore them apart and said that it was tough to be in that kind of limelight. He said, "Your privacy is breached. You're no longer a normal person. Our wedding was a circus. I think several people got arrested trying to climb up a mountain trying to sneak in." The famous lifestyle of hers just bothered him, but when asking why they split, he simply says that it just did not work out. But things got a bit sticky in 2006 when J-Lo sued him, claiming that he demanded $5 million to keep him from publishing a book containing private details about her and their past relationship. So it might be safe to say that she has some regrets too. Up next, number 3, we have Jennifer Esposito. She was married to Bradley Cooper for just 4 months back in 2007 and addressed details of their split in her 2014 book called Jennifer's Way. The actress talked about her failed marriage and threw plenty of shade at her ex. In her book, she talked about their relationship and said she ignored all the red flags that were there from the beginning, which we often do. She said he was funny, smart, cocky, arrogant, and a master manipulator. I didn't necessarily find him that attractive, but I figured that I could enjoy his sense of humor and nonsense for a while. Yikes. Bradley Cooper's hot, just saying. They were only dating for months before they got engaged and then tied the knots just 2 months later. 4 months after becoming husband and wife, she filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. It seemed like she regretted it right away because in her book, she described the red flags as storming in like a marching band. Sniping the number 2 spot is Mario Lopez and Ali Landry. I'm not sure who regrets it more. Maybe Mario because he cheated on her days before their wedding, or Ali because he cheated on her days before their wedding. They were only married for 2 weeks before they called it quits because rumors had surfaced that he had cheated on her. In his memoir titled Just Between Us, he admitted to cheating on her at his bachelor party and said that's what made him realize he wasn't in love with her like he thought he was. He said he went on to marry her because he felt that it was too late at the time to split up at that point. Ali didn't know about the infidelity before they got married and said she believed him when he lied and said that he did not cheat. Mario also went into details in his book about how Ali apparently changed into an image-obsessed model and pressured him into proposing to her. So it seems like the wedding wasn't something that he ever really wanted. So, in our number 1 spot, with not much surprise, is Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Maybe they didn't regret it in the beginning, but I guarantee they are regretting it now more than ever. You might argue which one of them regrets it more based on whose side of the story you believe, but their divorce has to be one of the worst ones in Hollywood history. It led to a highly documented lawsuit that has been damaging to both of their careers and probably their bank accounts. They first met back in 2009 on the set of The Rum Diary, but did not start dating until 2012. In 2014, Amber was spotted wearing an engagement ring, and then things seemed to be going very good for them at that time. The following year, they got married in a private ceremony at their home in LA, but the marriage only lasted 1 year. In 2016, Amber filed for divorce and accused him of physical abuse. She filed a temporary restraining order against him, and they settled a $7 million settlement outside of court. That could have been the end to everything, as the divorce was finalized in 2017, but here we are 3 years later. I'm not gonna get into the details of this current lawsuit because I think we can all understand why they both have regrets about their marriage for their own reasons. Starting us off at number 10, we have Pamela Anderson. The second half of this marriage, Kid Rock, may have similar feelings, but Pamela has opened up about the marriage more than he has. Their marriage is famously known because it happened suddenly on a huge yacht in St. Tropez back in 2006. Their first engagement was called off in 2003, and then 3 years later, they got married in July on a boat. The yacht party was a huge success, but their marriage was not. It was actually very short-lived. Pamela filed for divorce in November of 2006, and it was finalized in 2007. Back in 2018, she spoke candidly about their past marriage during an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. She admitted that she never spoke to him again after their split. For her, it was kind of like an out of sight, out of mind thing. Let's pretend it never happened. She does admit the wedding shouldn't have happened, but does not slam him personally for anything. Rumors actually went around saying that the Borat movie was the cause of their divorce because Pamela had a cameo in it and apparently Kid Rock was mad. However, those two did shut those rumors down quickly. So if you see that on the web, it's not true. Moving on to number 9, we have Renee Zellweger. Maybe it's just me, but I'm always surprised when I read about her marriage to Kenny Chesney because it seems so random to me. Like, I always forget that they were married. They first met back in January of 2005 at NBC's Concert of Hope Tsunami Telethon. Reports say Renee told Jay Leno that there weren't any sparks between the two of them that night, but they still exchanged phone numbers. Sparks must have grown between them because they dated shortly after, and only a few months after dating, they got married. Their wedding was on May 9th, 2005 in the US Virgin Islands, where they invited 45 close friends and family members. Although it was a beautiful wedding, their marriage did not last long and came to an end just 4 months later in September. Renee filed for an annulment and cited fraud as the reason. That statement spread like wildfire and everyone was throwing shade at Kenny Chesney. But Renee came to his rescue saying, I quote, "Fraud is simply language and is not a reflection of Kenny's character." I feel like she should have clarified that, like, in the beginning, or maybe just filed for, like, irreconcilable differences or something like that. Like, why file for fraud? In spot number 8, we have Nikki Hilton and Todd Andrew Meester. Another marriage that you might have forgotten ever happened. Nikki was young and in love when they got married, but she is the first to agree that the marriage never should have happened in the first place. They were actually in Vegas when they made the impulsive decision to tie the knot, but their marriage only lasted 85 days. They got married in August 2004, and in November 2004, it was announced that a Las Vegas judge granted them an annulment. One of the couple's representatives released a statement saying both parties have ended the marriage amicably and they remain good friends. Nikki was only 21 years old at the time and Todd was 33, but they did remain on good terms until they eventually moved on and just met other people. So let's just pretend it never happened. In spot number 7, we have Amelia Warner. Out of anyone on this list, she probably has the least amount of regret, only because her marriage to Colin Farrell may not actually have been legally binding. Amelia was only 19 years old at the time when she married Colin during a ceremony on a Tahiti beach. It was back in 2002 that their unexpected marriage happened. But one thing that wasn't so surprising was the fact that it did not last very long. No offense to them. Just 4 months after they tied the knot, they called it off. But Amelia has always talked about it and demands that the wedding was not actually real, despite some people not believing her. During an interview in 2011, she said, "We didn't actually get married. It's not actually true. I think we've been too polite to deny it. We had a ceremony on a beach in Tahiti that was by no means legal and we knew it wasn't. It was just a thing we did on holiday. We booked them on the activities desk at the hotel." Regardless of the marriage or not marriage, she said it was still heartbreaking when the relationship ended. What a weird thing to do on vacation. Let's go get married. Next up at number 6, we have Carmen Electra and Dennis Rodman. We're not totally sure who regrets it more, but their wedding has been remembered as one of the most strange and sudden circumstances in Hollywood gossip history. The two of them got married in Las Vegas on November 14th, 1998, after what people described as an all-night bender. Well, that is the ingredient to a successful marriage. An all-night bender. Only 9 days later, Dennis filed for an annulment and claimed that he was deeply intoxicated at the time and was not in the right state of mind to make that decision. For a brief period of time, it seemed like they had reconciled and tried to work things out. They were seen together in public in early 1999, but by March of that year, they had filed for divorce, which resulted in their marriage only lasting less than 6 months. After the divorce, they moved on to other relationships. Yeah, don't get married drunk. Don't do it. Halfway through list number 5 is Jeremy Renner and Sonny Pacheco. You may not have known that the actor was even married because they got married quietly just over a year ago. But less than a year after they quietly tied the knot, his then wife filed for divorce and cited the reasoning as fraud. But she actually meant fraud. They were married for 10 months and things got messy very quickly. In the court papers, Sonny demanded that he return her passport, which she claims was stolen, as well as her birth certificate and her social security card. She cites irreconcilable differences as the reason for the split and says their prenuptial agreement should be violated because it is based on fraud. On top of that, she's also asking for physical custody of their daughter Ava, as well as spousal support, use of their Range Rover, and for Jeremy to pay for her moving expenses and her rent. Her court documents have a lot to say, but the actor has remained quiet since their split. That is one messy split. Sliding into number 4, we have Elizabeth Moss. We only know that she feels sour about her marriage to Fred because she called it traumatic, awful, and horrible. All words you never really want to hear when describing a relationship. The Handmaid's Tale actress got married to Fred in October 2009, but they ended their relationship just 8 months later in the summer of 2010. The two of them met when she was a guest on Saturday Night Live, where Fred had worked at the time. The divorce was filed for irreconcilable differences, but Fred later on admitted that he had been a terrible husband. Those were actually his words, not mine. During a 2012 interview, she spoke about him and said, "One of the greatest things I heard someone say about him is he's so great at doing impersonations. But the greatest impersonation he does is that of a normal person." To me, that sums it up. It wasn't the first time she actually spoke about her horrible experience being married to him. However, he has always taken responsibility for that. In our third spot is Pamela Anderson and Rick Solomon. I am sorry, Pam, you are on this list twice because you've had a handful of marriages and divorces. I'm sorry. However, this one has a happier ending. Yay! The two of them have actually been married a couple of times. They got married back in 2007 Robin, but it was annulled just 1 year later in 2008. Then they got married again a decade later in 2014, but divorced just a year later in 2015. So to say that they have had a rocky relationship would be an understatement. But in recent years, he began telling media outlets that he wanted to get married to her again. And they did. That is right. This past December of 2020, they said "I do" for a third time in Las Vegas. The marriage wasn't very conventional, as it took place during an hour-and-a-half break she had between her magic shows. It was a very quick and small ceremony. When asked why they got married once again, sources close to them say they really are in love and have remained friends for the last 15 years, despite their first two marriages not working out. Sniping our number 2 spot is Nicolas Cage and Lisa Marie Presley. Some people might argue that Lisa was the one who had more regret because she actually ended an engagement to someone else when she met Nicolas at a party. Whoa. She was engaged to John Ozakia in 2000, but ended their engagement to be with the actor. Their relationship moved very quickly, and she was engaged once again, but to Nicholas, not too long after calling off her previous engagement. They were officially married on August 10th, 2002, but Nick filed for divorce on November 25th, 2002, just a few months after. So maybe he has more regret if he was the one who filed for divorce. When asked about the divorce at the time, he said they should have never been married in the first place. So that says a lot. I think they both have regrets. In our number 1 spot is Cher and Greg Allman. Their marriage is one that went down in history, and although there may have been some regrets at the time, Cher will always have a place for him in her heart. The two of them got married back in 1975, but separated just over a week later. They ended up getting back together and tried to work on the relationship, but when they were on the verge of an official divorce, she found out that she was actually pregnant with their son Elijah. Their marriage eventually did come to an end, and Cher revealed that his heroin and alcohol addiction was just too much for her to handle. She admitted that when she called him to say the relationship was over, he actually couldn't understand what she was saying. She said, I quote, "He was so high he didn't even understand me." Sadly, Greg passed away in 2017, but Cher tweeted out her condolences.
At number 10, Jim Carrey and Lauren Holly. Jim and Lauren's romance came as quickly as it went. For years, Jim had been infatuated with Lauren after having watched her on the soap opera All My Children, and so when it came to doing a screen test with her for Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, he felt as though she was already part of his world. Though she turned down the role in that film, she was persuaded to perform alongside Jim in Dumb and Dumber, and it was then that their romance began. The two eventually got married in 1996 atop a mountain because, again, nothing says romance like looking over the edge of a cliff. It seems as though there is some kind of jinx that comes with getting married on a cliff, because much like the mountain's edge, their marriage came to an end. Now, unlike many other celebrity marriages, this one didn't really end with disdain. Instead, it ended just because they were kind of over it. Their romance came at the emergence of paparazzi culture, and so as the biggest couple at the time, the paparazzi were following the couple everywhere, and even setting up camp in their backyard just to catch a glimpse of the two. Jim and Lauren ended their marriage 9 months later, with some thinking that it was because of cheating or career jealousy. There was no bad blood, so maybe things just ended because they weren't meant to be. But they probably regretted their decision to wed because of the invasion of privacy from the paparazzi. At number 9, Mike Tyson and Robin Givens. Mike Tyson's first marriage to his wife Robin Givens was a rocky one. After 11 months of dating, they got married in 1988 in the wake of Robin's pregnancy, and after Mike gave Robin and her mother around $10 million to get them settled. In Mike's memoir, he accused Robin of marrying him and locking him into a relationship for her own gain, as he alleged that her pregnancy and subsequent miscarriage were faked in order to get him to marry her. In the media, Mike was dragged through the mud. There were allegations of abuse and mistreatment on Mike's part, and the infamous Barbara Walters interview did not help with his image. The interview was originally supposed to be a one-on-one profile of Mike, but before the interview, Robin allegedly pulled Barbara aside and told her that she didn't have the whole truth about them. Robin was then invited to join the interview, where she opened up about things that she sustained while married to Mike and commenting on how he's been treating her.
And I said, I don't deserve this. I never had this in my life before, and I'm not going to tolerate this.
Soon after the interview, Robin filed for divorce from Mike and was later caught cheating on him with Brad Pitt. Mike most definitely regrets marrying Robin, as he said so in his book, and others refer to his marriage to Robin as the quote, one that ruined him. Before I carry on with this list, I'd like to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video, and if you're looking for some more awesome content to enjoy after this video, check out my gaming channel Viper Girl for some more fun with me. At number 8, Luann and Tom D'Agostino. Real Housewives of New York cast members Luann and Tom D'Agostino weren't the greatest pair, and anyone on set could have told you that. The other cast members actually warned Luann about Tom, saying that he was untrustworthy and that he was still in love with his ex. Still, Luann continued her romance and the two got married on New Year's Eve in 2016. At the end of the show's 6th season, it was revealed that one of the cast members had compromising photos of Tom kissing another woman just days after his and Luann's engagement party. Soon it became apparent to the public that there were some serious problems in their relationship, as Luann and Tom got into a heated argument at a restaurant, which ended with Luann slapping Tom across the face. This heated relationship and Tom's subsequent cheating never subsided, as days before their divorce announcement, Tom was caught with another woman, but at that point, no one was really surprised. They were only married for 7 months, and those were the craziest 7 months of their lives. Luann regrets not having listened to her castmates when they warned her about Tom, but at least that chapter has closed. At number 7, Axl Rose and Aaron Everly. The tumultuous relationship of Axl Rose and Aaron Everly is one that is certainly ingrained in the rock world. The two met while Axl, the frontman for Guns N' Roses, was still a struggling musician. She became one of the most important people in Axl's life, being the inspiration for the song Sweet Child of Mine. After meeting at a party in 1986, the two formed an instant connection. Despite being a good-looking match on the outside, they had a tumultuous relationship, but this didn't stop them from getting married in a Las Vegas ceremony in 1990. Axl allegedly threatened to harm himself if she didn't marry him, so things were already off to a rocky start. The marriage was annulled in 1991, just 9 months after getting married, and in 1994, Aaron filed a civil suit against Axl where she alleged that she was being abused by her then husband. Since the split, Aaron has auctioned off memorabilia that she had kept from her days with Axl and the band, looking to rid herself of any trace of her old ties with them. She surely regretted this relationship because of how messy it was and the way she was treated, and the fact that she wanted to get rid of so much of her past also speaks volumes. At number 6, Chris Kattan and Sunshine Tutt. Actor and SNL alum Chris Kattan and his ex-wife Sunshine Tutt had an incredibly short marriage that only lasted 8 weeks. Actor and SNL alum Chris Kattan and his ex-wife Sunshine Tutt had an incredibly short marriage that only lasted about 8 weeks and left them both in cheating scandals. The two started dating in 2005 and tied the knot in June 2008, but it seems as though all the time in the world could not prepare them for the commitment they were about to give each other, because 2 months later, they were in other people's beds. When the news broke of their split, Chris was the first one to come forward to say that he actually caught Sunshine in bed with her ex, but after this accusation, Sunshine's family said that it was actually Chris who was seeking comfort elsewhere. In the end, they just chalked their failed marriage up to issues, but I'm assuming they regret this whole thing and getting married in the first place. Clearly, they weren't ready for this kind of lifelong commitment, so that was just a waste of time and money in the end. At number 5, Chad Johnson and Evelyn Lozada. Chad Johnson, also known as Chad Ochocinco, and ex-wife Evelyn Lozada, were only married for 2 months, but so much happened in that short amount of time to permanently damage their relationship. Their relationship was intense, but it wasn't until after they got married that the world learned just how intense it was. After dating for less than a year, the two were wed in a 4th of July ceremony in 2012, but just 2 months later, there came an incident that broke them. Evelyn recalled finding a receipt in Chad's car for items that prompted the idea that Chad was cheating. The two fought and ended with Chad seriously injuring his wife. Chad was arrested for battery and domestic violence, and they divorced shortly after the incident. Evelyn did an interview about the ordeal where she opened up about her feelings on the situation.
He was lying, and I told him, I never forget telling him, I said, I'm not sticking by you through this. I don't care if my marriage is the laughing stock.
And the two have gone their separate ways since. At number 4, Elizabeth Taylor and Conrad Hilton. Elizabeth Taylor, one of Hollywood's most memorable icons, was married 8 times and had many stories and encounters to recall throughout her life, but one of her shortest and most regrettable marriages was to Conrad Hilton. The two were only married for 205 days before undoing their marriage after feeling neglected and abused by her new husband. She was 18 at the time of her marriage, but shortly after their wedding, Liz recalled how indifferent Conrad was to her and how hurt she was was when he spoke to her using abusive language. Liz won her divorce on grounds of mental cruelty, she refused alimony, and took back her maiden name. It was almost like it never happened, and Liz wanted it that way. She knew she deserved better and refused to put up with Conrad's treatment of her. During their honeymoon, the two reportedly fought a lot and spent more time apart than they did together. She later told news sources that her idea of marriage was very naive, and so she regretted the decision. She lived a better life without him anyway. At number 3, Zsa Gabor and Philippe d'Alba. Actress Zsa Gabor was married more times than anyone on this list, having been wed 9 times in her life. Some say she liked getting married more so for the pomp and circumstance Some say she liked getting married more so for the celebration than for the actual marriage part, but who knows, she was living her best life. Her marriage to her 8th husband, Philippe d'Alba, was the shortest, having lasted less than a day, but not for the reason that you might expect. She didn't regret her marriage to Philippe, she regretted her marriage to her 7th husband, Michael O'Hara. Why? Well, because he ruined her 8th marriage. After marrying Philippe, she learned just a few hours later that her marriage to O'Hara hadn't legally ended, so her newest marriage was illegal. Zsa and Philippe had their marriage annulled the next day, and they never got back together, deciding that their marriage was just too weird. At number 2, Ike and Tina Turner. Tina Turner is an absolute legend, and to think that anyone would even have the nerve to hurt this queen is so sad. Ike and Tina were a musical powerhouse, but they had a tumultuous relationship, leaving Tina regretting having ever known him. The two met while Tina was still a teenager and began performing together. In 1962, the two got married and continued to perform together for the following decade. Though they were a successful duo, Ike had been abusing Tina behind the scenes, causing her so much pain that she didn't deserve, and even prompting her to try taking her own life. After surviving her attempt, she made it her mission to leave Ike and begin a fresh start. And that is exactly what she did, and she became an even bigger star because of it. Finally, at number 1, Prince Charles and Princess Diana. Prince Charles and Princess Diana were one of the most beloved celebrity couples. The whole world loved them. Well, they loved Diana. She was the people's princess, but behind closed doors, she was sad and neglected by her husband. She was always second best in Charles' eyes, having never gotten over his infatuation with Camilla Parker Bowles, a woman that he was told he could never have. The two got married in 1981 and had 2 kids together, but because of Charles' extramarital affairs and Diana's unhappiness in the relationship, they got divorced in 1996. Diana regretted marrying Charles because she always knew that there would be 3 in the marriage: her, Charles, and Camilla. She deserved so much better, but got Charles instead. She was loved by the whole world, and eventually, after she was freed from the royal family, that became enough. I mean, have you seen that revenge dress? I'm sure I'm not alone in wishing that she had more time to enjoy that freedom. At number 10, Brody Jenner and Caitlyn Carter. Reality stars Brody Jenner and Caitlyn Carter had a short-lived marriage that lasted just over a year, and though they've been together since 2013, marriage seemed to be one of their most regrettable decisions as a couple. Not because it was toxic, but because it just wasn't right for them. Technically, they weren't even legally married, but they saw themselves as married, so I guess that's just good enough for me. The couple saw themselves as best friends and made their bond stronger after getting married in Indonesia in 2018 before splitting in the summer of 2019, but it seems that during this time they were having second thoughts about their commitments to one another. Caitlyn wrote about her thoughts around her relationship with Brody, where she said that she started wondering early on whether he was really the right partner for her. Caitlyn also said that they did a lot of growing apart during the first year of marriage, and they both knew that things just weren't working out. There were a number of reasons why their marriage didn't work out, like their personal journeys and even their work environment, saying that working on the hills wasn't good for them. Bottom line here is that sometimes even marrying your best friend can have its faults. At number 9, Eminem and Kim Scott. Rapper Eminem, aka Marshall Mathers, and ex-wife Kim Scott had a rocky relationship from the very beginning. They met in the late 80s when Marshall was 15 and Kim was 13. They lived together at his family home and later began a romantic relationship, moving in together and having a daughter. After years of being an on and off again couple, the two got married just before Marshall's first major tour. But it was then that Kim saw Marshall and their relationship without her rose-colored glasses, and where she began to regret her marriage to the rapper. Kim said that after the tour, Marshall got a big ego and started treating her as someone who was not worthy of his love and presence since he was such a big star. Kim also alleged that her husband had been cheating on her. The rapper's career had a very negative impact on their relationship, and so 2 years after tying the knot, they got divorced. They eventually tried things again in 2006, but that didn't even last the whole year. Before I continue on with the video, please do consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far. We love seeing you guys support the channel, so go and smash that thumbs up button. At number 8, Vanessa Morgan and Michael Kovac. Now, there isn't much information out there about these two, but I'm going to include it because I want to hear your thoughts on this. Riverdale actress Vanessa Morgan and Chicago White Sox pitcher Michael Kovac had a very short-lived marriage, but no one really knows for sure why that is. I would imagine that both parties regretted their wedding because of how things ended so quickly and how publicized everything was, but it's still a mystery as to why they called it quits. The two got married in early January 2020, but just 6 months later, they were done. News broke of their split just 3 days after Vanessa announced that she was pregnant with the couple's first child, and some even speculated that Michael filed for divorce because the baby wasn't his, but that was proven wrong as representatives from both parties confirmed that Michael was the father. There were also rumors that Michael had cheated, but again, nothing has been confirmed. Looking at the past few years that Michael has had, having gone through an injury that prevented him from playing in 2019, to the pandemic pushing back the 2020 baseball season, maybe this just took a toll on Michael in a way that we might not understand. On the bright side, the two seem to be co-parenting following the birth of their son River, so maybe they're just better off as friends. At number 7, Eddie Murphy and Tracy Edmonds. Comedian Eddie Murphy had his quarrel with love. After a number of failed relationships, he thought he found the one when he met producer Tracy Edmonds. They dated for a few months before getting engaged, eventually leading to a lavish $500,000 wedding in Bora Bora. You know things are getting serious when you take it all the way to Bora Bora. Their wedding, which was attended by 25 people, wasn't technically legally binding, but they had planned to go through the whole process upon getting back to the United States after their ceremony, but unfortunately that didn't end up happening. It is said that things started to go downhill quite quickly after the ceremony, as people reported Eddie being standoffish and not wanting to spend time with his new bride. Other guests who stayed on the island after the ceremony reported that they could hear Eddie and Tracy yelling at each other fighting, which ended with Tracy in tears. Just 2 weeks after the wedding, they decided that marriage just wasn't for them and they called it quits. At number 6, Sinead O'Connor and Barry Harridge. If you tallied a list of celebrities who've had the shortest marriages, singer-songwriter Sinead O'Connor is definitely up there. Her 2011 marriage to Barry Harridge was very short-lived, having only lasted 18 days. Officially. News broke of their split from her new husband just a few weeks after having tied the knot, when she issued a personal statement addressing her decision to end their marriage. In her statement, she revealed that though she wanted to keep her relationship troubles a secret, she was being forced to open up over fears of being exposed, and so she revealed that because of family turmoil over their recent wedding, she and Barry would be separating. Sinead revealed that her marriage was already being sabotaged by those close to Barry just 3 hours after the ceremony, and that she was making the decision to separate for Barry's own good, saying, quote, "It became apparent to me that if he were to stay with me, he would be losing too much to bear," end quote. For a marriage to tank so quickly and to have to say goodbye to your partner like that must be very hard, and it's probably something that they wish they didn't have to go through. At number 5, Wiz Khalifa and Amber Rose. Sometimes when people look back on their failed relationships with regret, it's because they have bad blood and wish they never welcomed this person into their lives. But for others, their regrets are circumstantial. This is sort of how Amber Rose felt after her divorce from rapper Wiz Khalifa. The two were married in 2013, but after 14 months of marriage, they divorced, and it was a nasty breakup. There were allegations of cheating, and the custody of their son was also up for debate. Years later, Amber Rose opened up about her brief marriage to Wiz Khalifa and spoke out about her regrets concerning their relationship. In an interview, she said how she regretted getting married when she did because they didn't give themselves enough time to grow in their relationship. Amber also said that she felt as though they would have had a more successful marriage if they got married later in life, calling their wedding a mistake at the time. Luckily, following their explosive divorce, things settled for them and they became good friends, and that just seems to be enough for them. At number 4, Jennifer Lopez and Ojani Noah. Singer Jennifer Lopez is no stranger to walking down the aisle. She's been married 3 times already, but the one relationship she regrets the most is her first marriage to Ojani Noah. Their relationship lasted less than a year, but their tumultuous relationship after their divorce has lasted much longer. It seems as though their relationship was destined to fail, as Ojani documented a lot of JLo's life behind the scenes, later saving it for his own tea spill. Noah tried leaking videos of the couple's honeymoon after their divorce, showing the singer in an intimate setting, and in years since, he has been very outspoken about the singer, her career, and even had plans to release a tell-all book about his ex, followed by a movie deal. Talk about petty. JLo actually ended up suing Ojani in 2009 for $10 million, citing that the videos he released as well as the book and movie deals violated an agreement that they had made, which prohibited him from exposing the singer's life. Jennifer now looks back on this relationship with regret and doesn't even count her relationship to Ojani as valid because of how short it was. At number 3, Kaylee Cuoco and Ryan Sweeting. Sometimes when you hear about someone talking about divorce, saying that their partner became a stranger after the wedding, it can be hard to hear. I couldn't imagine how bad I would feel feel to wake up next to someone who's changed like that. This unfortunately was the case with Big Bang Theory actress Kaylee Cuoco after her first marriage to her ex-husband Ryan Sweeting. The two got married in 2013, but after 21 months together, Kaylee filed for divorce. After their split, Kaylee opened up about her relationship with the former tennis player, saying that her experience with him ruined marriage for her and saying, quote, "I honestly thought I wouldn't get married again. My ex ruined that word for me. I married someone the first time who completely changed," end quote. She also went on to say that early on in her marriage, she felt as though something was wrong and that things were feeling off. Luckily, she's moved on and has since remarried, but her relationship with Sweeting is probably something that Kaylee regrets. At number 2, Lena Waithe and Alana Mayo. Screenwriter Lena Waithe and ex-wife Alana Mayo surprised fans when they announced that they had gotten married in a private and secret ceremony that was a spur-of-the-moment decision, but just 2 months later, they announced their separation. In a joint statement to their supporters, the couple announced that they would be splitting up, and so as fans do, they speculated as to why they ended their relationship so quickly. Rumors that Lena had been unfaithful started swirling, and some sources even said that their relationship had been rocky even before they got married. According to some, Lena and Alana's wedding came after multiple cases of cheating, and that even after their wedding, Lena was still buying expensive gifts for other women. Allegedly, this was all too much for Alana to handle, and so they called it quits. There must be some regret regarding this marriage because they allegedly weren't ready to settle down because of the instability of their relationship. And finally, at number 1, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. Of all the biggest Hollywood couples, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie were no doubt one of the most famous. The couple, who had been together for over a decade and who adopted many children together, seemed to be a picture-perfect and beloved family unit, and so when they announced that they had gotten married in 2014, fans were thrilled. So many fans had been waiting for this moment, and so when it finally came, it was big news. Bigger news, however, came 2 years later in 2016 when Angie filed for divorce. There were apparently a lot of reasons for their divorce. Their relationship dynamic had allegedly been thrown off after tying the knot because of the pressure to be completely faithful to one another since they had been in an open relationship prior, and the biggest reason for their split came after Brad had an altercation with their oldest son Maddox, which prompted Angie to reevaluate their relationship. This relationship lasted a long time before getting married, so maybe if that didn't happen, things would have been different. At number 10, Charlie Sheen and Donna Peel. We don't really hear much from Charlie Sheen these days. In fact, he's not really in the spotlight anymore, so I can't really say I know much about him. While doing a little research, I discovered that not only is his real name Carlos, but he's also been married 3 times. His shortest marriage being to a woman named Donna Peel. Donna is a model/actress who since leaving Charlie has pretty much disappeared from the limelight. Charlie met Donna in New York doing a photo shoot for a cigarette ad campaign in July of 1995. They had an instant attraction and they started dating immediately. 6 weeks later, they were wed on September 3rd, 1995 during an extravagant beachfront ceremony. Charlie seemed to have been head over heels for Donna, as he once said in an interview, quote, "She's an angel sent from heaven to take me through the rest of my journey." Eventually, this perfect relationship started to crumble and things just ended as fast as they began. 6 months after getting married, their marriage was over. Charlie ended up filing for divorce from Donna, saying that this marriage was suffocating him and that he, quote, "had to come up for air." Charlie also compared his marriage to Donna to a car, saying that if it breaks down, it's wise to let it go. From what I've read, there doesn't really seem to be much animosity between them, and it was seemingly a mutual decision to break up, but they probably regretted getting too serious too fast. At number 9, Shannon Doherty and Ashley Hamilton. Beverly Hills 90210 star Shannon Doherty was head over heels in love in 1993. Upon meeting actor Ashley Hamilton, their spark quickly turned into a big old flame and things escalated quickly. Just 2 weeks after meeting, they decided, hey, this is a perfect time to get married, and so they did. They were married on September 24th, 1993 in a super quick DIY ceremony held in Shannon's backyard. Things were put together so quickly that Shannon didn't even have a dress to wear, so she wore a white silk bathrobe and bare feet to walk down the aisle. They didn't even invite most of their closest friends and family to the wedding. Their marriage lasted a little over a year, which is actually much longer than I thought it would, judging by how fast they got together, but they eventually hit rock bottom and called it quits after Shannon filed for divorce in 1994. Shannon cited irreconcilable differences as the reason for their divorce. It is said that the reason why their marriage ended was because Ashley claimed Shannon threatened him with a pistol, but we don't really know for sure. Now, before I carry on with the list, I'd like to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, because it really helps the channel out, and also head on over to my gaming channel Viper Girl for some extra fun while you're at it. At number 8, Rudolph Valentino and Jean Acker. Now, even though this relationship was from a long time ago, that doesn't mean it doesn't count. This was some high-profile stuff during the early days of Hollywood, so just go with it. Silent film actor Rudolph Valentino and actress Jean Acker had one of Hollywood's shortest marriages, having lasted only 6 hours. Rudolph, known in the film world as the Latin lover, impulsively married Jean in 1919. Though Jean wasn't really into the whole idea, she agreed to marry him in 1919 in order to save her from a scandal. Before Rudolph, Jean was in a lesbian love triangle, but since that was frowned upon at the time, Jean went ahead with the marriage just to save her reputation and career. Just shortly after the ceremony, however, she began to regret her decision to marry and locked her new husband out of their honeymoon suite. After trying to get into their room for about 20 minutes, Rudolph just gave up and headed home that night. They eventually got a divorce and decided that they never consummated the marriage. At number 7, Ethel Merman and Ernest Borgnine. You know, sometimes marriage just isn't for everyone. That's perfectly okay after all. I mean, you do what you want. But I mean, for some couples, they're just not meant to be. Take Ethel Merman and Ernest Borgnine for example. These two Hollywood stars hit it off, and even though they both had 2 failed marriages under their belts by the time they got together, that didn't stop them from trying. The couple got married in June 1964 during a star-studded ceremony. Those in attendance included stars like Dick Van Dyke and Angie Dickinson. Though their wedding was a big to-do, their marriage certainly was not, as it only lasted about a month before calling it quits. After their wedding, they went on a long honeymoon, and this is where things started to unravel because while they were in public, Ernest was gaining more recognition than Ethel, and she just didn't like that. This fueled jealousy and made for a toxic match, so by the time they returned from their honeymoon, they were already over this whole marriage thing and decided to call it quits. At number 6, Audrina Patridge and Corey Bowen. The Hills star Audrina Patridge and BMX athlete Corey Bowen had a toxic and tumultuous relationship that really was just negative all around. After about 7 years of dating, the couple got engaged in November of 2015 and were soon married by the following year after welcoming their daughter Kira into the world. By 2018, they were done and the legal battle began. Audrina alleged that Corey was violent towards her. Leading up to their official divorce, Audrina had been granted a restraining order, preventing Corey from being within 100 feet of his wife and daughter. Audrina claimed that Corey was very aggressive towards her on multiple occasions, and she just couldn't take it anymore. Luckily, she was able to get out of that abusive relationship and probably regrets getting into it in the first place. At number 5, Halle Berry and Olivier Martinez. Halle Berry has been in a few high-profile relationships, but her most recent relationship with actor Olivier Martinez was her shortest. Having been together for only 2 years, they didn't get to carry out much of the things that they wanted to do together, like moving abroad. Halle and Olivier met on set while working on the film Dark Tide in 2010 and tied the knot in 2013. Also welcoming in their son Maceo. Though things were good for a while, Halle's past relationship with Gabriel Aubry started to put a strain on her marriage because she was forced to stay in the LA area while she got through her legal battle with him. Because of this, it put a halt on her plans to move to Europe with Olivier. Eventually, the two grew apart, having to be away from each other for work and other commitments. If Halle didn't have to deal with her other troubles with her ex, then maybe things would have been different, so maybe she regrets that relationship more than her marriage to Olivier. At number 4, Colton Haynes and Jeff Letham. Arrow actor Colton Haynes and celebrity designer Jeff Letham had a very short-lived marriage that only lasted about 6 months. These two were set up in the most Hallmark movie way possible, having a meet cute in an airport and passing notes on an airplane, and even their engagement was perfect, featuring Cher, and their wedding was fabulous too because the one and only Kris Jenner officiated it. Things were picture perfect, but eventually that photo began to fade pretty quickly. 6 months after their star-studded wedding, Colton filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences, and shortly after, Jeff also filed, citing the same thing. Their divorce was pretty scandal-free for the most part, but it also was a bit mysterious. Both parties agreed to sign a non-disclosure agreement saying that neither one of them would share any information about the other person with anyone else. Seems a little extreme, but maybe there's a reason behind it. There was a rumor that Jeff had actually cheated on Colton, though that was never confirmed. It seems as though maybe there were some regrets about jumping into this whole marriage thing too soon, or even at all. At number 3, Janet Jackson and James DeBarge. The singer-songwriter and sister of the late Michael Jackson experienced her first shot at married life when she was only 18 years old. Janet married James DeBarge in 1984, but their marriage only lasted about a year. Before getting married though, they were good friends. It seems as though they had been in love for a while and just took the first opportunity that they got to get married. Though Janet's father Joe did not approve of their marriage, they went through with it anyway and were together for 15 months. After they split up, there had been a rumor swirling around that Janet and James had a child, but they gave it up for adoption in order to save their careers and public image after James brought this up in 2016. It was never proven, but still remains a wild theory. Janet eventually ended up getting the marriage annulled because of James' substance abuse as it began to take a toll on their relationship. Janet regrets having gotten married so young, but hey, you live and you learn. At number 2, Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio. Being one of Hollywood's biggest stars can be all fun and games, but it also puts a lot of pressure on some people's relationships. I mean, imagine being married to the industry's most popular star. When Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio married, it was a pretty big deal. The actress and the athlete looked like a beautiful match who was deeply in love, having met and married within a short amount of time. Some people believe that their marriage was rushed because it all took place within time that they got between work engagements. They got married in a quiet City Hall ceremony in January 1954 and turned a work trip to Japan into their honeymoon, but just 9 months later the spark had faded and their relationship crumbled. Joe allegedly wanted a stay-at-home wife, but because Marilyn was at the height of her career, she wouldn't agree to that and wanted to keep working. Joe also apparently had a hard time coming to terms with his wife's image, and apparently her famous subway grate scene was the last straw. Their marriage ended with Marilyn citing mental cruelty as one of the reasons behind their divorce. She didn't like how he didn't want to support her, and that's just not what she needed in her life then. However, he did stay by her side until her sudden death in 1962. And finally, at number 1, Scarlett Johansson and Ryan Reynolds. Scarlett and Ryan's relationship is one of those that I forget ever happened. Though they were married for 3 years, apparently neither one of them was really into the whole marriage thing, and so they divorced. Simple as that. They got married in 2008 and the whole thing was pretty low-key. They didn't provide any details about their BC wedding to the press, and there are no pictures about it, so really all we know is that it happened. They didn't really share many details about married life either, at least until 2012 when they announced that they were splitting. As for why, well, Scarlett says that she was just too young to have known what she wanted, and some sources say that they fought a lot. They've since moved on with different people and are living their best lives separately. But maybe one day we will see them reunite on the big screen. At number 10, John Finlay. 2020 saw the success of the Tiger King documentary on Netflix, and in its aftermath, it saw some people like Joe Exotic become something of a celebrity. He and the others involved in his life became public figures, and there are still a number of people who are still interested in their lives and in getting some tea on Mr. Exotic, who is currently behind bars. Joe's ex-husband John Finlay recently came forward to talk about his life after the documentary brought him some minor popularity, and he exposed his former relationship with the now imprisoned Big Cat owner and exposed his marriage. John cannot express enough how regretful his marriage to Joe Exotic was. John said that this whole marriage was fake and that it was just for Joe's popularity, remarking that the wedding that was shown in the documentary, which showed him, Joe, and Travis Maldonado, was all, quote, basically a publicity stunt so Joe could get his own reality TV series. John spoke out saying that he still carries the pain from his time with Joe and is trying to forget his past by moving on with his new wife and by making steps towards having his tattoos of Joe removed from his body. John is in a better place now after leaving his life with Joe behind and is crediting much of his growth to his bond with his wife, but he says that he still has a long way to go to erasing the past. At number 9, Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey has been in her fair share of high-profile relationships, and throughout the years, she's had some regretful ones as well. In September 2020, the singer revealed in her memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, that she once had an affair which stemmed from her unhappy marriage to her first husband. In the book, Mariah wrote about how during her marriage to music exec Tommy Mottola, she cheated on him with baseball star Derek Jeter. Mariah wrote about how she was feeling during this time with Tommy, talking about how she felt trapped in her marriage because of the age difference between her and her husband, and because she felt as though Tommy was very controlling. This lack of love in the relationship prompted her to seek out a temporary escape, and after meeting Derek at a dinner party in 1997, she bonded with him. Mariah wrote that she kissed Derek one night, and that after that moment, they never went any further until Mariah ended her marriage, which she promptly did after that. She regretted getting into a toxic relationship with her first husband, but she found a temporary escape from the situation in the end. Now, before I carry on with the list, I would like to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also check out my channel Viper Girl if you're looking to kick back and watch some gaming content hosted by me. At number 8, Anna Faris. Though Anna Faris and Chris Pratt split around 4 years ago, there hasn't been much talk about what went wrong in their relationship until just recently. During an episode of Anna Faris' podcast, she sat down with actress Gwyneth Paltrow, and the two of them had a conversation about marriage. Both Anna and Gwyneth had gone through divorces and finding love after such an event, and so they opened up about those experiences. Anna asked Gwyneth if her, quote, taste in partners has changed throughout the decades of her life, to which she replied that her new partner is different in the sense that he helps her be more honest with herself. Anna then replied saying that she never felt as though she had that sense of honesty in her previous marriage to Chris Pratt, later going on to essentially expose Chris for the way things were in their marriage and how this lack of emotional honesty caused, quote, competitiveness and comparison in the relationship. Now, it's really hard to say if she really regrets her entire relationship with Chris as a whole, but she does regret not having certain positive aspects in her relationship, seeing that it is a vital part of a successful marriage. At number 7, Madonna and Guy Ritchie. Here's a relationship that was just messy and toxic in every sense. Madonna and Guy Ritchie divorced over 10 years ago, but just because their marriage ended so long ago, that doesn't necessarily mean that their hatred towards each other will have ended. The two were married for almost a decade, but their distaste from one another has lasted much longer, and because of this negativity, they no doubt regret ever getting married in the first place. It seems like their marriage turned sour because Madonna was working so hard on her career, and so things became strained between them and the hostility began to grow. Coming out of the divorce, the worst of it started to get out. Guy made a lot of harsh comments about his marriage to Madonna, comparing his relationship with the singer to a soap opera, and also said that she was more concerned with her public image than she was with their marriage. Madonna has fired back at her ex in the past, saying that she felt like she was incarcerated during their marriage and that Guy was nothing but a gold digger. There was just a lot of drama there, which really shows that they weren't a good match at all. At number 6, Wendy Williams. In 2019, talk show host Wendy Williams exposed her husband's serious affair with his massage therapist. Her 20-year marriage to her husband, Kevin Hunter, was dissolved after he was accused of not only cheating on Wendy, but also fathering another woman's child. When news broke of Kevin's affair, it was also revealed that his mistress had given birth to their child, and upon discovering this information, Wendy said enough is enough. When speaking out about the whole dramatic affair, Wendy said, quote, look, my husband had a full baby with a woman he was involved with for 15 years. Infidelity is one thing, a full baby is a whole nother topic. A baby. I'm not changing Pampers, I want to be pampered. I learned from my mother how to make lemons into lemonade. What am I supposed to do? Stay in the house and cry all day? End quote. She definitely regrets her marriage to Kevin just because of how serious this affair was. To not only cheat on your partner, but also have a child with someone else while being unfaithful is certainly something that would make you wish that you never even met this person. At number 5, Kim Kardashian. By now, we all know that Kim Kardashian and Kanye West are divorcing. Since the beginning of this year, there have been rumors circulating mainly about cheating, and no one really knows what's true and what isn't. In January, people were speculating that Kanye had an affair with YouTuber and makeup mogul Jeffree Star, and later there came speculation that Kanye tried to cheat on Kim with reality TV star Claudia Jordan. Between the cheating allegations and rumors and all of that other drama that's gone on with Kanye lately, including his presidential campaign last year and his numerous Twitter rampages, I think Kim might have some regrets about ever getting involved with Kanye because of all the drama that he's caused her. I'm sure that she doesn't completely regret her relationship with him since he did father her kids, who are her whole world, but I'm sure she would have loved to do without all of the constant Kanye drama that she's had to deal with over the past few years. At number 4, Jana Kramer. Jana Kramer made the decision to try and make things work after the huge 2016 cheating scandal where her husband's infidelity and sex addiction were brought to light, but now she's definitely regretting that decision. After years of trying to grow from their troubled marriage, football player Mike Costin and his wife, singer and actress Jana Kramer, called it quits on their relationship. Jana took to her social media in late April to announce their split, saying, quote, it's time. As I try to make sense of a reality that I never wanted to believe could be possible again, those words have become a reality. I've fought, y'all. I've loved hard. I've forgiven. I've put the work in. I've given everything I have, and now I have nothing else to give. End quote. Jana also cited, quote, inappropriate marital conduct, irreconcilable differences, and adultery as reasons for their divorce. Though the pair briefly split up in 2016 following that cheating scandal, and though they did reconcile shortly after that scandal, it seems as though too much damage was done, and judging by the tone in her divorce statement, it seems like she regrets sticking around as long as she did. At number 3, Alexis DeJoria and Sandra Bullock. Once a cheater, always a cheater, right? Well, that's how drag racer Alexis DeJoria and Sandra Bullock feel about their ex-husband Jesse James. Jesse has earned the label of a serial cheater after it was discovered that there was some serious infidelity plaguing not only his past relationship with Sandra, but also his most recent marriage to Alexis. Both Sandra and Alexis have been caught in a cheating scandal with Jesse, and this most recent scandal revealed that Jesse had cheated on Alexis with at least 20 different women. According to some sources, it was revealed that Jesse would sneak women into his family home, as well as fly women out to Austin to hook up with them in hotel rooms. It was also reported that Alexis tried to work things out with Jesse, but he wasn't interested in making things work. After all of this drama and broken trust, both Alexis and Sandra regret ever being married to Jesse because of how much disregard he seemed to have had for their respective relationships. At number 2, Mary-Kate Olsen. After multiple attempts, Mary-Kate Olsen successfully filed for divorce from her husband, Olivier Sarkozy. Mary-Kate had tried multiple times to file for divorce from her husband through the New York City courts last year, but because of the pandemic and stay-at-home orders in New York, she was denied twice before finally having her paperwork accepted in late May. The two had been married since 2015 and apparently had a number of rough patches, most notably on their stance of starting a family. Olivier, who already had children with his ex-wife, didn't want anymore, though Mary-Kate did. And on top of that, apparently the tipping point in their relationship was when Olivier's ex-wife moved into the couple's home. Mary-Kate seemed to have had enough with their disagreements, especially those that involved his ex-wife, and so she decided to leave her husband. Following her desire to leave, her husband apparently kicked Mary-Kate out of their home, and she was close to losing all of her personal belongings. This was all very toxic, so I'm sure she regretted her marriage to him in that moment. And finally, at number 1, Melinda Gates. Bill and Melinda Gates have been in and out of the news regarding their divorce, ending their marriage of nearly 30 years. Now that they're separating, more and more news is coming out about Bill, which shows that Melinda wasn't always happy and probably regretted her marriage to him at times. The moment where she really wanted to leave, though, was when her husband began a friendship and close bond with Jeffrey Epstein. Information has come out suggesting that Melinda had made the decision to begin the divorcing process in 2019 after a report by the New York Times had linked Bill and Jeffrey. Melinda previously warned Bill about the billionaire when they first met back in 2013. However, despite her forewarnings, Bill allegedly continued to meet with Epstein, later leading to him getting exposed for their relationship when Epstein was arrested in 2019. Melinda seemingly wanted out of her marriage as soon as she realized that Bill was in too deep with Epstein. Now that all of this has come out, you can really start to see what Melinda was dealing with for all those years, and that she had been dealing with an unhappy marriage for quite a while.
Number 10, Katy Perry and Russell Brand. Russell Brand has taken over the news recently after he was added to the list of comedians who fell very hard from grace. After several women came forward alleging mistreatment, Russell's career was destroyed, and rightfully so. Now, for a brief period in time, he was married to one of the most popular artists ever, Katy Perry, for 14 months to be exact. Their relationship was rocky from start to finish. Now, while on the outside things seemed fine, Katy has revealed that she was well aware of Russell's behavior. In fact, the first time they ever met, Russell attempted to force himself onto her, but she took it as playful and pushed him off. She never got Russell to sign a prenup or anything involving a share in finances. However, when they did get divorced, there was a mutual agreement that they would share their assets earned together 50-50, even signing the paper with a little smiley face. If she had delivered that information sooner, Russell would have been left penniless and in prison before he could have written a book. Number 9, Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner. Joe and Sophie are currently going through an extremely public divorce, with the latest information being that Sophie is suing Joe for the return of their children to England. A court filing set in place on Thursday called for Joe Jonas to act, demanding the immediate return of the children who were wrongfully retained. According to Sophie's team, the wrongful retention began on September the 20th. The couple had apparently agreed to make England their forever home. The couple sold their home in Miami, and they were in the process of purchasing property in the English countryside. Joe had been in charge of the little ones since he started touring, while Sophie claims that he had more time available to be with them during the day because she was busy filming a little mini-series. According to Sophie, she didn't even know that Joe wanted a divorce until she read articles about it online. When the conversation was brought back up about who will live where, Joe changed his mind apparently, and he has been keeping their passports to himself, and so far his money is also staying right where it is. Despite the announcement of this divorce taking place in the beginning of August, it feels like there is something new happening every other day with these people. Number 8, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. On top of the domestic accusations placed against Johnny, there was also a pretty lengthy divorce battle with his ex Amber Heard that spanned over a year. The couple were only ever married for a fairly short time, literally just over a year to be exact. Now, despite them both being pretty successful when they tied the knot, no paperwork was ever signed, and their divorce was just a doomsday clock slowly counting down to May in 2016. After over a year of legal garb, Johnny was forced to pay Amber over $7 million, but the joke's on her as she used that money to bring a team of lawyers with her to court after an op-ed surrounding domestic allegations against Johnny was contested. And at the end of that ordeal, Johnny got his $7 million back and then some. Number 7, Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore. Ashton, of course, dated and was married to Demi Moore for a long time, but their marriage quickly came to an end when Demi discovered Ashton was seeing another woman behind her back. That old tidbit. Too bad for Ashton, she really should have signed a prenup. Their divorce proceedings went on for years, and while the former couple attempted to agree on some kind of a settlement, it just took some time. Unfortunately for Ashton, Demi is good at getting what she wants. After a ton of legal work and digging up dirt, Ashton ended up being a little bit more generous than he had to be. Apparently, Demi received a significant amount of money and property from That 70s Show star. As I kinda hinted at, most of that goal to win came from the fact that Ashton began publicly dating his now wife, Mila Kunis, and it was only a couple of weeks after they had already filed for a divorce. There's always been speculation that Mila and Ashton were together before the papers were ever filed, but nothing's ever been proven. If you ask me though, Demi's fury is proof plenty. Number 6, Mel B and Jimmy Gulzer. Mel may be known best as Scary Spice from her time with the legendary pop crew the Spice Girls, but it was Mel that was put into a bit of a scary situation when she divorced her husband and backup dancer Jimmy Gulzer. Despite being married for only 16 months, Mel was ordered by the court to pay Jimmy a settlement worth about $1.6 million, including cash payments and a property that was worth almost $1 million by itself. By the time Mel B divorced her second husband, Stephen Belafonte, she was forced to offer hubby number 2 a settlement of $6.5 million. He did not learn from the first one. Over the course of 2 relationships, Mel was forced to pay roughly $7.6 million in assets and cash. If Mel had put a prenup in place during either of these marriages, she may have saved herself a few million. Or 4, but instead she was forced to pay way too much to men who clearly knew what they were doing, squeezing Mel for every bit of cash she had. Number 5, Adele and Simon Konecki. Adele is known around the world for her incredible voice and equally powerful stage presence. In 2021, she filed for a divorce from her husband, Sam Konecki, who was also the CEO of Adele's Drop for Drop charity. After over a year of back and forth negotiations, Sam ended up walking away with an astounding amount, $171 million. Paid outright. He would not receive spousal support, he would not receive any kind of anything, he just got $171 deposited into his account. Adele was essentially paying this man off to leave her alone for the rest of her life. Now, on top of the financial payoff, the couple decided to share joint custody of their son, Angelo. While not happy with each other, they have gone on record saying that Angelo is first and foremost in their lives. Being a parent is the most important thing that they could be doing right now. If she had made Sam sign a prenup beforehand, there is no way that he would have walked away with that much money. But then again, she's Adele. For all we know, 171 million is closer to like $200 for her. Number 4, Britney Spears and Kevin Federline. Britney may have recently split with her short-lived boo Sam Asghari, but it was her even more controversial backup dancer boy toy Kevin Federline that walked away with a lot of cash and a little bit of fame. During the early days of her career, Britney made her fortune on the back of her squeaky clean image, but that image was very quickly destroyed after a long night of partying, left her with a wedding ring, foggy memories, and Kevin. They had one of those little Vegas weddings, but eventually they made their way down the aisle for real. The couple were together for 3 years and had 2 kids together, but even having one big happy family was just not enough to keep these two happy. When Britney and Kevin split, they had not agreed on any kind of a money situation beforehand, so Kevin was ultimately granted $40,000 a month. A month! That's more than most people make in 3 months, let alone 1. Kevin was basically given a free pass to just chill and be a dad, while Britney, Well, we all know what happened to Britney Spears. Number 3, Paul McCartney and Heather Mills. As one of the most important men in music history for, creating the Beatles, Paul McCartney had a lot to lose in the event that his second marriage to the much younger Heather Mills ever went south. Now, despite knowing what could happen if he did not get her to sign a prenup, he went ahead with the marriage easy peasy. Well, not so easy peasy, because after 6 years together, they finally split up and doomsday was arriving. He made the decision amid a slew of accusations that she was addicted to no substances and her apparent dislike for Sir Paul's children that he had from his last marriage. Now, because there was no prenup in place and he was, Paul McCartney, Heather walked away with a modest $40-ish million plus 70 grand per year set aside for their daughter Beatrice until she turned 18. We can't really blame Paul. I guess he just assumed that his second marriage would be his last, but buddy, third time's the charm. Second time is never good. Number 2, Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey. When Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey tied the knot in 2002, getting a divorce was the last thing on their minds. The young lovers fell hard in the early 20s. Of course, paperwork and logistics were not on their minds. They were too busy being happy and rich. Even though Nick did eventually touch on the subject with Jessica briefly, she turned him down and did not want to talk about it again. Prenups were insulting to her. The couple were divorced only a few years after getting together, and looking back, Simpson herself said that she should have signed something. According to her, she was actually offended when initially asked to sign the paperwork, telling Nick that they were going to be together forever though. Of course, forever didn't last, but thankfully neither Nick nor Jessica were very vengeful when it came time to split. Minimal money was shared, and if anything, they probably gave each other their stuff back rather than any cash. Number 1. Mel and Robin Gibson. Mel is one of the more controversial celebrities around. He's played several characters over the years, from religious people to Mark Wahlberg's dad. This guy's been a busy bee. Now, when it comes to his love life though, it's been a rocky road to say the least. Mel did not have much luck in the love department. After being with his wife Robin for 30 years, the couple decided to call it quits. Having decided very early on how things would go should a divorce take place, Mel was forced to pay Robin $425 million, which was apparently only half of his total net worth. Half. On top of paying her the money on the spot, she was also entitled to a percentage of his earnings from any future projects. Not only did Robin get a ton of money from the Braveheart star, but his then girlfriend Oksana Grigorieva also received over $700,000 when Mel abruptly abandoned her too. Next time, you gotta negotiate, man.
Coming in at number 10, we have Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth. These two were on the rise in the first few months of 2010. These two met while working on the set of the romantic drama The Last Song and decided to give it a shot. For real. Appearing all cuddly and cozy on the red carpet, while they were together for over 2 years, it was severely on-again and off-again relationship, which culminated into them getting engaged in 2012. Yes, getting engaged to the person you keep breaking up with is always a healthy way to start any marriage. They decided to call it quits in 2013, and since then, the two have had vastly different careers. In 2014, the song Wrecking Ball was at the top of the charts alongside with the music video, which Miley swings on the wrecking ball in her birthday suit while licking seemingly everything in sight. Liam seems like he was on the track to have a steady career after starring in the Hunger Games franchise, but he suddenly stopped acting in all mainstream media following 2016's Independence Day resurgence. These two definitely wish they had never met each other. Maybe The Last Song would never have been made and Liam could have been Thor instead of his brother. Coming in at number 9, we have Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber. Justin actually first met Selena after his agent arranged a date for them, and apparently Selena was Justin's celebrity crush and the feelings were possibly mutual. After Selena referred to Justin as her little brother for over a year, they were spotted together on the red carpet at Vanity Fair Oscars party in 2011. They were together for a hot minute before Justin jumped ship and started seeing his current wife, Hailey Baldwin. Now their relationship was also rocky at first, with everyone being on again and off again over and over and over roughly until 2016. When Justin officially dropped Selena from his life and committed to his new boo. Since then, Selena has found a few other boy toys in her life, but so far has been unsuccessful finding a new man. Justin, however, is happily married and in a better place mentally than he has ever been. Getting rid of each other seems to have been the best thing they could have done for themselves, and it has paid off. Coming in at number 8, we have Taylor Swift and Matt Healy. Taylor Swift broke up with someone? When does the album come out? Taylor Swift and 1979 frontman Matt Healy were taking the media world by storm when they were spotted holding hands and attending each other's concerts earlier this year. Taylor ended her 6-year relationship with Joe Alwyn. She quickly bounced back with the singer who has stirred up a lot of controversy for spouting racial slurs, political rants, and just trashy trash. Following the rumors of their romance, Matty started playing She's American at his concerts, referencing Taylor throughout the gigs. They were confirmed to be in a relationship sometime in May, but less than a month later, they had split for good. Apparently, Taylor finally came to her senses and dropped the menace from her life. Hopefully nothing but good things will come from this split, and by good things, I mean a new song I can scream to in the car. Coming in at number 7, we have Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. What has been said about these two would shock you these days. Amber and Johnny first got together in 2009 after meeting on set of the No Juice Diaries. It's not actually called that, but we can't say that on the internet. It's a word that rhymes with gum. Around 6 years later, they were married and lived happily ever after. I am just kidding. They ended up getting divorced oh so quick. Literally a year after getting married, Amber Heard filed for divorce, claiming that Johnny had been physical with her while under the influence. This resulted in Johnny opening a lawsuit against Amber after an opted piece was released in the Washington Post. While she did not name Depp, she heavily implied it was during her time with him that the alleged situation took place. Eventually, they went through a very nasty and public trial, free to watch online might I add, and the judge ruled in favor of Mr. Depp. He was awarded $15 million while Amber received $2 million in a liable countersuit. I don't know. A lot of big words that mean rich people are richer now, and Amber and Johnny wish they had said to the No Juice Diaries and the No Juices. Coming in at number 6, we have Gigi Hadid and Zayn Malik. These two first started seeing each other in 2015 and have had one of the most public on-again, off-again relationships in history. Zayn found Gigi attractive, he asked her out, she said yes, nice and wholesome. What is less wholesome is the fact that these two couldn't commit to each other for more than a few days. No, I am exaggerating, but that's basically what it felt like. The first split came around 7 months after they got together. Okay, lots of time. They were only broken up for 5 days before getting back together, a pattern which would continue until 2021. These two have made up, broken up, chucked and bucked. I mean, come on guys. You knew how bad this was for your mental health, right? Despite the pair having a child together, thanks to their 15th reunion or so, however many times they've split, but that child is the only good thing that ever came from that relationship. In at number 5, we have Anna Faris and Chris Pratt. Anna and Chris met in 2007 on the set of Take Me Home Tonight. Only 1 year after they began seeing each other, they were engaged and became one of Hollywood's most favorite comedy couples. They went through some hard times together, having to deal with their son Jack being born 9 weeks too early. While they bounced back from that and began raising their son, they filed for divorce in 2017 after 8 years. While neither have actually confirmed what caused the split, it seems like it boiled down to a case of Pratt being too busy and not having enough time for their family. At the time, he was heavily involved in the MCU and starred in the second Guardians of the Galaxy movie. So it's not that far-fetched to think that Anna may have been neglected by her hubby. Since the split, they have had successful love lives and co-parent Jack very well together. But they're happy to be out of their old relationship and are happy for one another. Look at that, people being nice to each other after a breakup. Weird, isn't it? In at number 4, we have Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes. While many people in power have been trying to tell women what to do with their bodies forever, Cruise was forced to address rumors that he made his third wife, Katie, give birth in secret and in complete silence. A practice Scientologists believe may prevent any permanent psychic scars caused by negative vibes at birth. Cause yes, starting life in a deep dark dungeon sounds super healthy. Cruz confirmed that this was true, but made the argument that the process was not as strict as many people believed it to be. He even had a special pacifier made for Katie to keep her as quiet as possible during the birth. According to Katie, Tom was also very mentally manipulative during their time together, apparently micromanaging every single thing she did, down to the clothes she was allowed to wear. Thankfully, Katie came to her senses and filed for divorce from Tom around 2013. Since then, Tom has been a single Pringle because his reputation is rough, and Katie has been happy and free of such a little angry man. Coming in at number 3, we have Courtney Cox and David Arquette. Ever since starring together in the cult classic horror franchise Scream, these two have been entangled in each other's lives in both good and bad ways. By the third Scream movie, they had gotten engaged, and by the year 2000, they were happily married. Now, of all the relationships on this list, this one is actually one of the more tame breakups. Arquette was a bit wild in his early days of stardom, to the point where he had initially made Courtney uncomfortable, but as time grew on with her, they were happily married for 10 years before things started to grow stale, even having to attend couples therapy. Since 2011, they have stayed apart as a couple, but have been able to co-parent their daughter Coco and maintain a healthy friend-like relationship. The breakup caused Arquette to take stock of his life, and he checked into a rehab facility. So far, the only time they've worked together again was on set of the 5th Scream movie, but thanks to one of them kind of being deceased now, it will more than likely be the last time we see them together again. Coming in at number 2, we have Taylor Swift and Harry Styles. Oh look! It's Taylor Swift again. In 2012, Taylor and Harry formed one of pop's most iconic power couples, being dubbed Haylor by fans. Their relationship didn't last long, however, because previously mentioned on this list, Taylor Swift has had the strange ability to create a catchy tune from some of her darkest times. Following a trip to the Caribbean, of all places, the couple decided to call it quits in early January of 2013. Harry Styles definitely wished he had never met Taylor in the first place. Following their split, Taylor started working on her new album titled 1998, the same year she was born. Cementing her move from the world of country to pop, so many quality songs came from that album that surely made Taylor millions, at the expense of her ex, Harry. Mr. Styles was still a member of the boy band One Direction at the time, when he returned to a full-time gig as a pop star following the split. Things were slowly taking a turn in a different direction. The album made the other bandmates feel like Harry was being targeted, and it also seemed to take a bit of a mental toll on the performers as well, as he was not so quick to answer questions or share his side of the breakup. Instead, he kept doing his job and made music for the world to enjoy, so much so that when the band eventually split up, he claims Taylor was an inspiration for him to venture off on his own to gain even a sliver of power that Taylor had. And in at number 1, we have Kim and Kanye. Kim and Kanye actually met almost 12 years before becoming official. After Kanye dropped a song called Cole, which he name drops Kardashian, he professed his love to the world. Little did Kim know that the relatively sane rapper was on his way down a dark road. In 2018, the first of what would be a million dominoes began to fall on Mr. West, after he decided to post several racially fueled Twitter rants online. While that began affecting his career in front of the camera, it had apparently taken a toll on him behind the scenes as well. Kim had gone on record claiming that Kanye became much stricter with her children than he normally was towards them at the end of their relationship. By 2020, the couple was constantly fighting, and Kim claims that Kanye became too focused on his career rather than their own children. But 2020 was the year he officially snapped. After he confirmed he was running for president, he revealed intimate details about Kim unprompted. In January of 2021, she officially announced her split from Kanye and simultaneously introduced the world to her new boo, Pete Davidson. The only good thing to come out of him, in Kim's opinion, is her wonderful children.
Number 10. Kim Basinger. The 69-year-old actress and former model's face has looked suspiciously smooth and wrinkle-free in recent years, leaving many to believe that she's had a lot of work done. Well, a few years ago, a plastic surgeon named Dr. Omar Tillo weighed in to express, and he said that he thinks she received Botox, cat eye surgery, and dermal fillers. He claimed that if you look at previous photos, you can see apparent lines and wrinkles around Kim's eyes, and these can be treated with anti-wrinkle injectables such as Botox. She also has clear lines around her mouth, which could be the result of being being smoothed out with dermal fillers. Kim's skin also seems much fresher with a more even complexion, and this could be due to several factors such as laser treatments, but a second expert named Reza Nizab agreed and added that he believes she might have also had some kind of a fat transfer or a facelift. Now this could explain the almond-shaped eyes hidden behind these massive cheeks. Back in 2012, Kim's daughter, Ireland, insisted that her mother had never received any plastic surgery, while calling her the most naturally beautiful woman there ever was or will be. Ladies, if you want to avoid Botox and other skin treatments, just listen to her mom. She hasn't had one treatment done because she stayed completely out of the sun all of those years. Ireland wrote in an Instagram comment. Kim herself was never addressed the speculation surrounding her looks, but just look at her and it's pretty obvious. Number 9. Courtney Cox. Friends star was speaking with UK Sunday Times Style magazine ahead of the launch of her new comedy horror TV show Shining Vale, in which she plays a depressed novelist who moves from New York City to rural Connecticut with her family. Cox herself is facing up to the fact that she's not far off of 60, and she admitted that she initially tried to fight aging with all kinds of cosmetic treatments, but eventually realized that she had gone crazy and is now trying to age gracefully. Despite her global superstar status, Cox said her confidence was dented a few years ago after shooting a pilot for a series that was never produced. Thankfully, the treatments she received could be removed, her face filler slowly dissolved, and it would appear that she's decided to steer clear of any more cosmetic situations, proven by her role in the new Scream series, where she really does not look all that different from her days on Friends. Number 8. Madonna. What is there to say about this woman's career? Madonna has been stuck on our heads since we first heard hits like Material Girls and Crazy for You. Now, what may have also gotten stuck in your head was just how gorgeous this woman once was. In the 1980s, Madonna was well known for her stylish duds and big blonde hair, and at times channeled some serious Marilyn Monroe energy. It was unfortunate then that Madonna felt the need to fall into the world of plastic surgery and injections as she got older. Photo comparisons from the 1980s to now showcase these major changes, with her forehead appearing to be pushed out, as well as her cheeks and her lips being filled with enough Botox to give her the appearance of someone wearing a silicone mask of Madonna over their own face. What's more is combined work seems to have molded her eyes into the almond shape of a cat. She just looks kind of funny in pictures. Fans have always been left wondering what she may have looked like had she never gotten any surgery. Would she still be a material girl, or would the material be riddled with stain? Number 7. Selena Gomez. The former Wizards of Waverly Place star has been dodging surgery rumors left and right forever. Fans have noticed her face changing over the years though, and side-by-sides from her Disney days show drastic changes in her facial features. Not only does she clearly have some kind of cheek filler going on, but her eyes are much more cat-like than they originally were. Selena has admitted to using skincare products in the past to redesign or enhance features without the need of invasive surgery. However, no foundation on the planet can give Selena the features that she currently possesses. It comes as no surprise that Selena is actually a spokesperson for several beauty and cosmetic brands, and has adamantly denied that she's received any kind of major surgery over the years. She's been shutting down rumors left and right for a long time, even deleting photos from Instagram because she received such massive slews of negative comments. While it's never been confirmed if she's actually received any work, just watch her on screen these days and it's enough to prove to you that young Alex Russo that we once knew has vanished into thin air. Number 6. Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman has admitted that she regretted using Botox to battle the signs of aging. The Australian actress confessed that she did indeed use the cosmetic injections, but said that it was an unfortunate step in her beauty regime, adding that she was glad to regain some of the movement in her face. She recounts getting Botox at one point and claimed that it had unfortunately left her face looking disfigured, ultimately opting out of another jab. She claims to have hated the way that she looked when first receiving the shots, very quickly realizing what a mistake she had made. She claims that her beauty comes from a natural place outside of this, saying in interviews that she is not one to advocate for plastic surgery. She claims to use sunscreen, does not use any illegal substances, and she takes care of herself. Hey, if I had millions of dollars, I might drink a smoothie and hire a trainer too, but I don't know. Number 5. Ariana Grande. Ariana. Now, it should be no surprise to learn that Ariana Grande is not 100% clean, clear, beautiful cover girl, okay? The Salmon Cat star and world famous musician dropped some truth during her Vogue Beauty Secrets tutorial a few weeks ago. Grande shared with the world that she has had a ton of Botox and lip fillers over the years, but that she was ready to go back to the way that she looked. For a long time, she was getting regular injections and surgeries, but according to Ariana herself, she stopped seeking those treatments in 2018. 2019. She claimed that she felt like she was hiding herself from the world, and she was tired of being hidden behind a fake layer of herself. She went on to say that the decision to stop was also motivated by her wishing to see her natural features again, like her smile lines. Now, she said that she may get a facelift in 10 years or so down the line, but compared to the invasiveness of Botox, that should be a chill Tuesday for her. Number 4. Khloe Kardashian. Khloe Kardashian is one of many people from the Kardashian crew that I could have chosen for this list, but unlike her sisters, Khloe's actually opened up to fans about her cosmetic surgery journey, revealing her only regret was having a nose job. For years, Keeping Up with the Kardashian fans had questioned whether Khloe had any work done on her face, and during the show's reunion special last year, she confirmed that she had cosmetic surgery. She'd apparently been hesitant to share the information with her fans, as she claimed the world is a bit too easy to set off, and that people would more than likely bombard her with backlash, which is exactly what happened. After revealing the truth, she was blasted with questions left and right, like who, what, when, where, why. According to Khloe, the main reason she wanted to try something different was because she was tired of being compared to her siblings all the time. The Kardashian clan is large and filled with basically one of every kind of crazy, but Khloe has maintained that she regrets trying to alter herself just to be different than her sisters. Number 3. Cardi B. Cardi B has never been coy about the plastic surgery procedures that she's had done. During an Instagram Live in December 2022, she talked about a procedure that she had done to her butt years ago and gave her followers a word of advice while doing so. Following the birth of her son Wave in September of 2021, Cardi B said that people thought she had work done when in reality she got a surgery in August to have 90% of her bipolymer bum injections removed, so something she already had done got taken out. She went on to say that you should do your research and listen to your doctors, not just with bum injections, but also Brazilian bum lifts and all other plastic and cosmetic surgeries. In 2019, the rapper got candid about having to cancel and postpone shows because she needed time to recover from liposuction. On Twitter, she talked about having to miss work for 2 weeks because of, well, that. The same year, Cardi also told Entertainment Tonight that she had a chest lift after giving birth to her daughter Culture and was unhappy with needing to take the time off. So Cardi's biggest problem isn't that, she's getting all these procedures, but the recovery time it seems to take. Well, that's too bad for her, because surgeries are a lot and it's fair that it takes a while to recover. Number 2. Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy Teigen has no issues when it comes to being open about what plastic surgery procedures she's had done. The 35-year-old model recently took to her Instagram story to show off the results of the cosmetic surgery procedures that she revealed she underwent. Vocal fat removal is one of the specific and biggest ones. But the goal of vocal fat removal is to thin your cheeks, specifically in the areas of the cheek hollows. While she claims that the removal was a success and that she could see the results, the aftermath of the situation left her on the other side of the argument. She was candid about this procedure, and many were still questioning how she got these cheeks so perfect. Speculation started running wild, with people claiming to know for a fact that Chrissy had fillers. In fact, there was an entire YouTube channel dedicated to proving this woman was made of silicone. She addressed the rumors online and claimed that she did in fact receive the aforementioned solutions, but she denied the claims that she received any kind of cheek fillers. Instead, she made it known that she was not an advocate for body morphing, claiming that the only time it should ever be done is for medical purposes. Number 1. Jocelyn Wildenstein. This New York socialite is not a stranger to the world of media. Ever since the mid-90s, she's been famous around the world as being a literal cat woman, having received so much plastic surgery that she now looked like a cat. Well, that's what people say. I think she looks more like a lion, but lion woman doesn't have as nice of a ring to it. Her journey started with the titular cat eye lift surgery, but it was just the first in many steps to get her this perfect face. According to her friends and family, however, the surgeries were intended to not give her a Barbie-like face, but that of a lynx, which she apparently had as a pet. While she was famous for a long time, it was the photos that were shared following her divorce from her husband Alec that really made her famous. Most of the attention was of course drawn to her looks, and she was quickly dubbed the Catwoman by the entire world. Despite being worth millions of dollars, Jocelyn has faced financial struggles over the past few years, and at one point she was even sued by American Express for owing them $70,000 in credit. Her cat eyes may be trapped behind a massive layer of plastic and silicone, but they will always be the first step taken down her rocky road. And those are the celebrities who looked the strangest and worst with their faces full. Number 10. Khloe Kardashian. Khloe Kardashian is one of many people from the Kardashian crew that I could have chosen for this list, but unlike some of her sisters, Khloe has opened up to fans about her cosmetic surgery journey, revealing her only regret about having a nose job. For years, Keeping Up with Kardashian's fans had questioned whether Khloe had any work done on her nose or any other part of her body really. During the show's reunion special last year, she confirmed that she had the surgery. She had apparently been hesitant to share the information with fans, as she claimed that the world is just a bit too easy to set off and that people would more than likely bombard her with backlash, which is exactly what happened. After revealing the truth, she was blasted with questions left and right. Why? What? When? Where? Huh? According to Khloe, the main reason she wanted to try something different was because she was tired of being compared to her siblings all the time. The Kardashian clan is large and filled with basically one of every kind of crazy, but Khloe has maintained that she regrets trying to alter herself just to be a little bit more different than her sisters. Number 9. Cardi B. Cardi B has never been coy about the plastic surgery procedures that she's had done. During an Instagram live video in December 2022, she talked about a procedure that she had done to her bum years ago and gave her followers a word of advice while doing so. Following the birth of her son, Wave, that's a great name, in September in 2021, people said that they thought she had work done, when in reality she had gotten surgery in August to have 95% of her bipolymer bum injection removed. She went on to tell people that they should do research and listen to their doctors, not just when it comes to bum injections, but also Brazilian bum lifts. Seriously, why can't I say butt? And all the other plastic and cosmetic surgeries. In 2019, the rapper got candid about having to cancel and postpone shows because she needed time off to recover from a liposuction. On Twitter, she talked about having to miss work for 2 weeks because of that. And in that same year, Cardi also told Entertainment Tonight that she had a chest lift after giving birth to her daughter, Culture, and was unhappy with needing to take the time off. So Cardi's biggest problem is not with the procedures themselves, but the recovery time it seems to take. Well, fear no more with InstaLift. No, I'm just kidding, that's not real, but oh man, I've got a good pitch for Shark Tank. Number 8, Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy Teigen has no issue when it comes to being open about what plastic surgery procedures she has done. The 35-year-old model recently took to her Instagram story to show off the results of the cosmetic surgery procedure that she revealed she underwent: buccal fat removal. The goal of buccal fat removal is to thin the cheeks, and specifically in the area of the cheek hollows, and I'm not talking about face cheeks. While she claims that the removal was a success and that she could see the results, the aftermath of the situation left her on the other side of the argument. She was candid about this procedure. Many were still questioning how she got her face cheeks to look so perfect though. Speculation started running wild of people claiming to know for a fact that she had fillers. In fact, an entire YouTube channel was dedicated to proving that this woman was made of silicone. She addressed the rumors online and claimed that she did in fact receive the aforementioned bum solution, but she denied that the claims that she received any kind of cheek fillers, and instead she made it known that she was not an advocate for body morphing, claiming that the only time that this should ever be done is for medical purposes. Number 7, Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie has been a staple in the world of Hollywood ever since starring in the iconic 1978 horror flick Halloween. She slowly made herself a force to be reckoned with, making her way through several iconic shows and films before landing an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in last year's Everything Everywhere All at Once. Jamie has been very open about her life when asked in interviews. She is an open book ready to be read by any and all that are interested. When the topic of plastic surgery comes up, Jamie is very loud with her opinion, claiming people should not F with their faces. In 1985, Jamie underwent a handful of procedures to increase her beauty. She got Botox and liposuction, which she admitted made her feel terrible. She also recounted trying to change her hairstyle all the time, but the reinvention of Jamie Lee just never took place. Now in her 60s, Jamie is still stunning, and it's got nothing to do with surgery. Just a long life of running away from masked maniacs. Number 6, Kim Kardashian. The reality star can be tight-lipped about the cosmetic procedures that she has undergone, and has repeatedly denied getting plastic surgery, but on a forthcoming episode of The Kardashians, she seems to make a surprising confession. In a peek at season 3 shared by her sister Khloe on Snapchat, Kim is seen taking voice lessons. While talking to her vocal coach, the Skims founder admitted that she couldn't use her neck muscles to sing because half of hers were probably Botoxed. Kim admitted to having a little bit of Botox in a 2022 Allure interview, but claims that she's had no filler, adding that she will never fill her cheeks and she's never filled her lips and all this jazz. While this may be true, back in 2010, Kardashian suffered facial bruises after getting Botox before she turned 30, an experience that was documented on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Kim claims that the surgeon warned her of all the possible side effects, like they're supposed to do, but because it was the first time receiving the procedure, she flipped out in front of the cameras. Since then, Kim has steered clear of any more Botox-related procedures, claiming that she felt a constant burning sensation for days afterwards, being some of the most painful moments of her life. Number 5. Courtney Cox. The Friends star was speaking with the UK Sunday Times style magazine ahead of the launch of her new comedy horror TV show, Shining Vale, in which she plays a depressed novelist who moves from New York City to rural Connecticut with her family. Cox herself is facing up to the fact that she is not far off from 60. She admitted that she initially tried to fight aging with all kinds of cosmetic trends, but eventually realized that she had gone crazy and is now trying to age gracefully. Despite her global superstar status, Cox said her confidence was dented a few years ago after shooting a pilot for a series that was never produced. Thankfully, the treatment she received could be removed. Her face filler slowly dissolved, and it would appear that she's decided to steer clear of any more cosmetic situations, proven by her role in the new Scream series, where she really does not look all that different from her Friends days. Number 4. Sharon Osbourne. The talk host, who is 70, admitted that she came to the decision to quit with the surgeries after an October 2021 facelift left her with one eye lower than the other one. TV personality and wife to the Prince of Darkness, Sharon previously spoke about regretting the horrendous facelift with the Sunday Times. She said she had a full facelift that October that left her looking like a mummy in an enormous amount of pain. Not only did the procedure leave her with one droopy eye, but she added that the 5.5-hour operation was not worth the time or the price tag. In fact, she kept calling herself a cyclops because they did such a bad job. At least she was able to laugh about the situation. Since her last botched job, Sharon has decided to steer clear of the whole surgical route for now, and instead is going with the au naturel look. Number 3. Tara Reid. Tara was initially a rising star in the world of Hollywood, being featured in several franchises over the years, but as time went on, her career slowed down and she was offered less and less roles. This was thanks to the reality series called Taradise, which showcased her penchant for the party lifestyle. A wardrobe malfunction at a party for P. Diddy in 2004, in which one part of her chest was visible for all the world to see, did not help the situation. Shots of her deformed chest quickly circulated on the internet, and Reid says that she was devastated. She had consulted with a plastic surgeon who gave her a completely different size than she had wanted, and Reid also had a procedure called body contouring done by the same surgeon, and she was unhappy with those results as well. Reid went under the procedure again one more time to get the previously botched jobs corrected. She says she saw a therapist for about a year to get help with her confidence issues and has settled down since her Taradise days. And on top of that, she's also steered clear from too many more surgeries, urging anyone who is going under to do some research first and, check those sources. Number 2, Mickey Rourke. In the 1980s, Mickey Rourke began to find success as an actor. He was praised for his appearance. The Independent compared his youthful appearance to Marlon Brando or James Dean. So when the actor's appearance changed in the 90s, fans started asking questions. And as it turns out, the explanation for the transformation, it makes sense. Speaking on the topic of plastic surgery, Rourke told the Daily Mail in 2009 that most of his was to mend the mess of his face after boxing. Rourke had cartilage taken from his ear to help rebuild his nose, which was an operation that he called one of the most painful things he had ever gone through. His biggest regret comes from not doing enough research before booking the appointment. Seriously, this whole list could just be top 10 times he should have done research. He's quoted as saying he went to the wrong guy to get his face fixed. Well, he has claimed that he's only had one more surgery to attempt to fix things. He has since become a public advocate for only getting surgery if it's for health purposes, because sometimes you need a part of your arm grafted to your shin. People are wild. At number 1, Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman has admitted that she regretted using Botox to battle the signs of aging. The Australian actress confessed that she did indeed use the cosmetic injections, but said that it was an unfortunate step in her beauty regime, adding that she was glad to regain some of the movement in her face. She recounts getting Botox at one point and claiming that it had unfortunately left her face looking a little disfigured, ultimately opting out to get another jab. She claims to have hated the way she looked when she first received the shots, very quickly realizing what a mistake she had made. She claims that her beauty comes from a natural place outside of that, saying in interviews that she is not one to advocate for plastic surgery. She claims to use sunscreen, not do any illegal substances, and she takes care of herself. Boring! Hey, if I had millions of dollars, I might drink a smoothie and hire a trainer too. But I don't. Number 10, Zac Efron in Baywatch. Acknowledging his appearance changed in recent years, Efron explained that his looks changed after he fell over at his home and he broke his jaw in November of 2013, making his face and jaw muscles have to work extra hard. According to Zac, he was seeing a physical therapist to help him recover from this, but he briefly stopped while he was in Australia, where he taped 2 seasons of his Netflix series Down to Earth. It wasn't until 2017's Baywatch that fans really noticed the physical changes that Zac was going through. He was already a very muscular man. He claims to have starved and dehydrated himself for the shoot to appear more toned up. And on top of that, this was around the same time that his jaw started to reset itself, being noticeably stiff throughout the feature. His jaw is now more pronounced and it gives him like a more square but muscular face, almost appearing swollen sometimes. The look was only a third of the reason that fans hated this movie. It was also because of the terrible script and performances from its cast. Seriously, Dwayne Johnson, come on. Number 9, Sylvester Stallone in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Now, Sylvester Stallone's face is distracting in general. Ever since Rocky, this dude has looked like he's slowly been melting for 20 years, until suddenly a new face emerged. The fun thing with Sylvester is, depending on what movie you've seen between 2010 and now, depends on what you may have gotten in terms of face altogether. Around The Expendables, fans started to notice some subtle changes in his face. The cheeks were a little bit more prominent, he seemed to have more pronounced jaw, but the closer to the final Rambo movie we got, the more that he began to resemble his Rocky days. But most recently in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, it seems that someone took a drywall scraper and just like slowly flattened his face. His eyebrows also look more pronounced, almost like they're the Nike swoosh. And while the overall film is not a flop, the scenes with Sylvester in them were universally agreed to be unnecessary and distracting to the overall project. Number 8, Mickey Rourke in Wild Orchid. Back in his early days in Hollywood, Rourke was known as one of the prettiest boys in town. He was often compared to the likes of Marlon Brando and James Dean. However, that reputation did not last long. Throughout the 1980s, the diner actor would always talk about his issues with fame and how he hated the industry. So, throughout the early 90s, Mickey slowly started getting into the world of professional boxing as an escape. This was the main cause for so much of his misshapen face. According to Mickey himself, he had slowly been dismantled by the sport, breaking his nose twice, snapping his cheekbone, and damaging his ribs and toes. Needless to say, a professional doctor advised him to hang up the gloves before it did too much damage, but unfortunately that damage was already done. In his 1990 film Wild Orchid, the actor's cheeks were visibly swollen and he just looked so different. Later in 2009, he admitted that these changes were indeed due to botched plastic surgery, as a lot of people speculated. Whether it was the bad acting or the bad surgery, the movie tanked at the box office and it currently sits at a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. Since then, Mickey has gone under again for corrective surgery, but he still looks like a clay model of his former self. Number 7, Nicole Kidman in Bewitched. Nicole has been around for a while in the world of Hollywood, starring in everything from superhero movies like Batman Forever to the film on this list, 2005's Bewitched. The film was based around a TV series of the same name and featured Kidman as the lead and Will Ferrell as her co-star. The film was okay, it's fun for some, but for critics, it was a rough ride. One thing many fans noticed right away was that her cheeks looked suspiciously round. Like throughout the movie, the audience was left wondering what was happening to Nicole's face. Over the years, it has been speculated that she's gotten some kind of work done, but it was never actually confirmed. But just taking one look at a side-by-side proves that something has been done. Her cheeks look fuller, her face seems lifted, there's a lot going on upstairs. This film was just the first of many to leave fans pondering what Nicole had been doing, and it did not stop there. The closer to 2020 we got, the more she appeared to have done, becoming nearly unrecognizable in her role in Bombshell. Number 6, John Travolta in Wild Hogs. John Travolta is a renowned actor who's been around for decades and's probably starred in at least one of your top 10 movies. However, the iconic Pulp Fiction actor surprised fans with what looks like the aftermath of botched plastic surgery in 2007's Wild Hogs. Fans were convinced that John had some work done in his face and it had gone horribly wrong. Comparing his face to the Grease lightning star that we all know and loved, there are just noticeable differences under his eyes and around his jaw. He now had more of a square face with unnaturally straight bone structure that he most certainly did not have when he met Sandy. Of course, getting Botox, fillers, or even plastic surgery as a quick fix to hide the inevitable signs of aging is not that big of a deal in Hollywood, but Mr. Travolta might have just stepped into the wrong surgeon's office, as as fans were shocked and critical about his new look. The film overall was just a little bit strange, but it had a nice premise. It featured some pretty stellar comedic actors like Tim Allen and Martin Lawrence and Ray Liotta. They played a wannabe crew of bikers who get more than they bargained for when they run into actual gang members. It sounds fun, but the entire film is derailed by the distracting face of John Travolta. Seriously, this dude went from greased lightning to being struck by lightning. Number 5. Helen Hunt and I See You. From Mad About You and What Women Want to Twister, there is no denying that Helen Hunt has been a tour de force on screens big and small for decades. In fact, she got her start as a child actor in the 70s. A lifetime in the spotlight means fans will always be curious about every aspect of your life. Considering the pressure to remain youthful in Hollywood, many fans wondered if Helen Hunt ever decided to get plastic surgery. Well, 2019 was a big year for Helen. She had several movies coming out and had just directed an episode of The Politician. However, the main draw of that year was her role in the horror movie I See You, with many fans claiming that the film was unwatchable simply due to her facelift. It seemed like someone was trying to CGI out all the age on her face, but it ended up looking just strange, weird. The negative online comments caused many fans to skip this one and wait for the home release. Who am I kidding? They torrented it. Number 4. Tara Reid in American Pie Reunion. Tara has starred in several comedy flicks over the years, but they tend to stick to the same category: schlocky and cheap, which are still fun. Being a part of movies like Van Wilder, Sharknado, and of course the American Pie series. While she seemed to be on the rise, rumors of a serious attitude on set were slowly bringing her less and less roles, and a wardrobe malfunction at a party for P. Diddy in 2004, in which one part of her chest was visible for all the world to see, well, that didn't help either. She had clearly gotten some work done, which was obvious thanks to a certain body part being in the shape of a square and not a circle like it should be. She had also received many physical alterations to her face and stomach, with the latter being botched so horribly to the point where Tara had a hernia that prevented her from being able to work without a shirt on, which was apparently a big part of her career. When the gang got back together for the reunion, fans were curious to see where the film would take the crew and if it may be the first of many more American Pie movies. Unfortunately, the script combined with the distracting physical changes to one of its main cast members caused fans to peg this flick as a must-forget. Number 3. Jeremy Piven in Smokin' Aces. The Entourage star has not always been some cool guy in a suit. He's been a wide range of characters, from a bald store clerk to a villain in Spy Kids 4. This man is versatile, and so is his hair. In one of Jeremy's first acting gigs in Singles from 1992, he's very obviously missing the top of his head. His hair is slowly thinning, but is very clearly on its way out. Okay, so cut to the first season of Entourage, where his hair suddenly began to grow back. And by the time the 2006 movie Smokin' Aces came along, Jeremy had long hair. He looked like he was in a boy band that partied just a little bit too hard. This was a very distracting moment in the world of Hollywood and is a part of the reason that this movie tanked. It could be that, or it could be the terrible performances given by Piven, especially when you compare it to his co-stars like Ryan Reynolds and Ben Affleck, but who knows. It seems that the closer to 2020 we got, the more hair this dude had. He claims to have received hair transplant surgery, which was difficult to hide as he was bald one day and Elvis Presley the next. Number 2. Portia de Rossi, Arrested Development. While this may not be a film entry, how about the fact that she messed up a whole season of television just with her face? In fact, it had changed so much that her character was slowly written out of the series. The popular series returned after 7 years of rest, releasing an entire season, 15 episodes worth, all at once on Netflix. Now this is how the running joke heavy sitcom was really meant to be watched, all in one sitting over and over again at the viewer's own leisure. But it seemed that all the Twitter sphere could talk about was actress Portia de Rossi's face. De Rossi, who plays the vapid, self-centered, clueless Lindsay Bluth Fuquet in the series, had apparently gotten some work done as a side-by-side of season 1 to season 4 shows vastly different faces. Several plastic surgeons gave their take on the possible changes and agreed that it was very obvious that she had had some work done. They report that she received a nasal tip reconstruction and Botox injections. Yeah, you don't need to be a plastic surgeon to see that one. Unfortunately for the show, that 4th season was not well received, and one of the many issues that fans seemed to have was the little to no explanation on why Lindsay looked like that. And at number 1, Kim Basinger in The Burning Plain. Kim was a rising star in the 1980s, being featured in rom-coms, action movies, dramatic right pieces, each one just a little bit better than it would have been without her. Towards the end of the 1990s, she was still maintaining a steady career, but as we entered the new millennium, many were noticing several changes to her face. By the time The Burning Plane came out, it was obvious what was going on. Her cheeks were noticeably larger, leaving her with deep ridges. Her face was also suspiciously wrinkle-free, which made the changes even more obvious. Between the Botox, the facelift, and who knows what else, her role in the film was bogged down by the unrecognizable face of Ms. Kim Basinger. Despite boasting a great cast with Jennifer Lawrence and Charlize Theron, the film tanked, and no one could take it seriously.
So starting off our list today at number 10, we have Kim Kardashian. For years now, it seems like the Kardashian family has denied having any sort of procedures done, which is baffling because just having one look at the family, you can tell that they have definitely had a lot of work done to achieve their looks. While Kim has continued to go on and claim that she hasn't had any butt injections, she has claimed to getting cortisone shots to help her with her psoriasis. In 2022, during her cover interview with Allure, she would explain that she had a little bit of Botox done, and that's exactly what she's done to her face over the years. She then went on to deny any other procedures after she said she chilled on all the Botox lately. She then went on to claim that she's never had eyelash extensions and went on to say, "I've never done anything. I have a drop of mascara on today. I've never filled my cheeks. I've never filled my lips." But do we actually really believe her? Number 9, Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy Teigen has been pretty open about her plastic surgery when she first started to admit to her procedures back in 2017 when she told Refinery29 that she had her armpit sucked out, and when her fat came back, she had to pay for liposuction again so she could feel more confident when she wore her dresses. Then in 2019, the star would take to her Instagram to post that she would be removing her chest implants as she wanted to be able to zip into a dress size that was actually her size. And then again in 2021, the star would take to her Instagram again to share that she had the fat removed from her cheeks when she said, "I did that Dr. Diamond buccal fat removal thing here, and since I quit drinking, I'm really seeing the results." Chrissy then went on to point to the area of her cheek where the procedure had been done before adding in her caption that she had no shame in her Dr. Diamond game. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming at number 8, we have Khloe Kardashian. I don't think any of us really thought Khloe would admit to some of the procedures she had done on her face, as we thought she was just going to conceal the truth about her work like the rest of the family seems to do. However, during an episode on Keeping Up with the Kardashians series finale reunion, the star would admit to her procedures when she said, "For me, everyone says, oh my gosh, she had her 3rd face transplant. But I've had one nose job and everyone gets so upset like, why don't I talk about it? No one's ever asked me." On her talk show Cocktails with Khloe, the star also admitted to having facial fillers dissolved when she said, "My face was so effed, I had to go and get this whole thing dissolved. It was a bummer and now I'm afraid to do it again. I'm also almost like I swear things are still in my face," which is honestly probably true, as once you alter your face, you can't go back to what you used to look like before. Number 7, Ashley Tisdale. Have you ever noticed that Ashley Tisdale's face altered around the time she was working on the hit show Sweet Life of Zack and Cody? Well, later on in Ashley's career, after the rumors started to circulate around the star altering her nose, she would admit that she did have a nose job done in 2007 to fix a deviated septum. When she told people, "I didn't do this because I believe in plastic surgery, I did this to help my health. I literally almost could not breathe out of my right nostril. I want my fans to know the truth. I'm not someone who is going to act like I have done nothing. I just want to be honest with my fans who are everything to me." And while Ashley did choose to admit that she had surgery done, she's not like most celebrities on this list today because she chose to have the cosmetic procedures done to help her health and not to improve her overall look. Number 6, Bella Hadid. In her 2022 Vogue cover story, Bella Hadid would share that she regretted having her nose altered when she was just 14 years old, when she said, "I wish I would have kept the nose of my ancestors. I think I would have grown into it." She also went on to add that her nose job was the only procedure she has ever gotten done, and she went on to say, "People think I fully effed my face because of one picture of me as a teenager looking puffy. I'm sure you don't look the same now as you did when you're 13, right? I've never used filler."
Let's just put an end to that. I have no issue with it, but it's not for me. Instead, she went on to state that her lifted appearance is the result of an illusion when she said, "Whoever thinks I've gotten my eyes lifted or whatever, it's called face tape, the oldest trick in the book." However, while the star has admitted to her nose job, it's only a matter of time before she comes out to reveal that she also had buccal fat removal, as her cheeks are looking hella sculpted lately. Number 5. Joe Jonas. You think being one of the best looking men in Hollywood, Joe Jonas would have never done anything to his face, but then think again, as the star has had help from injectables over the years to help combat signs of getting older. As he once told people, we're all getting older, and part of it is being comfortable in our own skin. Around this time, Joe was also becoming a brand partner for Exomin, which is an anti-wrinkle injectable that temporarily improves the appearance of frown lines using a double filtered formula. Joe would also go on to admit he not only uses this treatment for his frown lines, but he also uses it to smooth out a scar he has between his eyebrows, before noting that his procedure has never been over the top and that he kept things pretty light so you couldn't really tell that he has had work done. Joe actually only chose to come out about his cosmetic treatments so he can encourage other men to feel comfortable doing the same thing, as he doesn't find it such a big deal, and he would also state that we should all feel confident about how we look. Number 4. Courtney Cox. At one point in time, we all noticed that there was just something different about Courtney Cox, and while a lot of people just couldn't wrap their finger around it and what was different with her, some of the star's fans then started to accuse the star of having work done. While Courtney was silent for years about her cosmetic procedures, in 2017 she would finally admit to having cosmetic surgeries when she said, "I've had all my fillers dissolved. I'm as natural as I can be. I feel better because I look myself. I think that I now look like the person that I was. I hope I do. Things are going to change. Everything's going to drop. I was trying to make it not drop, but that made my face look fake. You need movement in your face, especially if you have thin skin like I do. Those aren't wrinkles, they're smile lines. I've had to learn how to embrace movement and realize that fillers are not my friend." But honestly, fillers seem to be no one's friend, so it's surprising to see so many celebrities entering into the trend to get them. Number 3. Marc Jacobs. Back in 2021, Marc Jacobs would cause quite the public stir on Instagram after he uploaded a selfie of himself post-operation that showcased his head wrapped in bandages. The celebrity would then open up about his $50,000 facelift and his decision to publicly reveal he had gone under surgery, while saying there was no shame in being vain. The designer has been sharing candid photos of his post-operative recovery on his personal Instagram account since. The celebrity plastic surgeon Andrew Giacono performed his deep plane facelift on July 20th, 2021. Marc would then open up about his procedure with Vogue when he told the media outlet, "I've got some scars around my ears and my face is swollen. I have a bruised neck. I'm still posting on Instagram. I don't care. I don't even see it as an effort to be transparent. I'm doing what I normally do, which is living my life and sharing it with anybody who is interested." Marc would then point out that he's been pretty honest about his changing appearance for decades, and he'll continue to do so as he gets more procedures done. Number 2. Tori Spelling. Back in 2021, Tori Spelling would address her expired and recalled chest implants when the actress posted a photo of herself at a plastic surgeon's office that year on November 19th. In the caption of the photo, she would say, "After needing to for many years, I'm finally addressing my expired and recalled implants. Thanks for squeezing me in. Dr. Plastic Surgery. Great consult. I adore you already." Beforehand, Tori had already previously shared that her implants had expired during an October episode, Wind Down with Janet Kramer. And when Tori was asked if she wanted to have new implants done, the Beverly Hills 90210 actor would say she did, before noting, "See, no one told me when I got that done. In 10 years, you would have to get them redone." Beforehand, in 2019, Tori did address all the rumors around her changed appearance when she told people, "The one thing that stuck with me forever was the plastic surgery thing. I literally had my nose done and my chest done. That's it. I'm constantly reading that I've done more." While the star has been under speculation for more procedures since she was at the age of 19, it seems like most celebrities can shake the rumors, but Tori's plastic surgery rumors have stuck with her throughout her entire career. And coming in at number 1 today, we have Reed Ewing. Reed Ewing once opened up about how he had a nightmare of a time struggling with body dysmorphia and the resulting horrors he faced when he attempted to use plastic surgery surgery to fix it. When the actor, who is best known for playing Dylan on Modern Family, penned an essay for the Huffington Post, he would give shocking details about how he had a pretty difficult time in his life dealing with body dysmorphic disorder. So if you don't know what body dysmorphic disorder is, it's a mental illness in which a person obsesses over the way he or she looks, thinking about their real or perceived flaws for hours each day. And for Reed, he spent years analyzing every single feature, to the point he had to make his first appointment to meet with a cosmetic surgeon when he was only 19 years old. Though he describes the doctor as being curt and uninterested in his worries, nevertheless, he decided to undergo the surgery to get a large cheek implant. After getting the surgery done, Reed would face more problems, as he had to hide his face from the public to hide his disordered appearance post-surgery. It also didn't help when he woke up from the surgery, all the doctor and his staff could do was laugh at the actor's appearance. Starting off our list today at number 10, we have Amanda Bynes. Back in 2013, Amanda Bynes' parents would outline a troubling portrait of the star in a court papers as they were seeking a legal conservatorship to manage her affairs. Among other things, they would also tell Ventura County Court that Amanda had been suffering from severe body image issues that left her feeling extremely paranoid about being watched, to the point that she would cover smoke alarms with towels, tape windows shut, and even cover her car dashboard with cardboard and tape out of fear that cameras were watching her from inside these places. Amanda's fears were so strong that she soon became obsessed with the idea that she and others were ugly. Her parents also noted that this was around the time their daughter also started to talk about cosmetic surgeries that she wanted to get consistently, and that they even received large doctor bills from surgeons just a few months since they moved to New York, as Amanda had spent a large amount of her fortune. With Amanda being worth only $4 million at the time, she spent around $1.3 million of her money just in a short amount of time, which was kinda concerning. Number 9, Heidi Montag. So back in 2010, Heidi Montag would admit to the Daily Mail that she wished she hadn't wasted so much of her money on plastic surgery, after she and Spencer Pratt revealed that they were considering filing for bankruptcy after blowing their $10 million fortune. The reality TV couple who splurged all of their fortune on crystals, luxury cars, and Heidi's plastic surgery and failed pop album would also know that they owed close to $2 million in taxes. The former stars of The Hills would then claim that they had to move into Spencer's parents' guest home after struggling to pay the rent on their $35,000 a month Malibu mansion. Heidi then would go on to note that Spencer's parents would even have to go out to the grocery stores for them on the weekend, and that she regrets her costly decision to undergo 10 plastic surgery procedures. Before saying, "I spent thousands on the procedures and aftercare. I had private nurses coming twice a day for 2 months for treatments and bandage chances. Each time they came, it cost $2,000. I wish I didn't waste so much money on it." Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming number 8, we have Michael Jackson. When Michael Jackson passed away in 2009, his passing would leave behind so many unanswered questions about the eccentric pop star's alleged plastic surgery. Throughout his career, his dramatic transformations made him infamous, as fans wondered exactly how much surgery he had. In 2015, a documentary would be released called The 10 Faces of Michael Jackson, and in this documentary it would hint that the late singer had more than 100 procedures done on his face, and that the late star passed away with a staggering amount of debt, with his abandoned Neverland Ranch serving as a haunted reminder of his extravagant pop star past. With Michael having countless sold-out tours and endorsement deals, he was also the owner of a multi-million-pound music catalog that included his own work and that of artists such as the Beatles. But incredibly, the wealth he was bringing in with royalties was said to have been nothing compared to the incredible amount of debt he was simultaneously racking up. A forensic accountant asked to speak at the 2013 trial would then explain that Jackson blew his entire fortune on gifts, travel, art, zoo animals, jewelry, furniture, donations to numerous charities, as well as plastic surgery. At the time of Michael's passing, he was $500 million in debt due to his spending habits. Number 7, Lil' Kim. Before there was Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, there was Lil' Kim. With a string of successful albums to her name, she went on to mentor many others who came after her. Lately though, her name has been surfacing due to reasons unrelated to music, mostly because of her ever-changing looks. As years went by, Little Kim began appearing on red carpets and in interviews with lighter skin, higher cheeks, a smaller nose, and in addition, drastic alterations. It then became clear one day that the rapper was spending half of her time in the recording studio and the other half in the plastic surgeon clinic. In an interview in 2005, Little Kim admitted to getting several nose jobs done after she had her nose broken. The rapper then continued to undergo multiple surgeries so she could keep up with the impossible beauty standards the world kept advertising. And men also played a major role in her insecurities as they made her believe that she wasn't pretty enough. In June of 2018, Kim reportedly had to file for bankruptcy and hoped to auction off her New Jersey home to help her pay off her enormous $4 million debt. Official court documents would then reveal that the rap superstar was earning around $18,000 a month and her personal expenses were reaching close to $13,000. So this left Kim with no option but to file for bankruptcy as she couldn't find a way to pay her ever-growing amounts of money that she owed to the IRS, with her also owing over $1.5 million in federal income taxes. This would cause Kim's net worth to be around $500,000 today, which is a far cry from what she used to be worth. Number 6, Stassi Schroeder. Former Vanderpump Rules TV personality Stassi opened up in her book that she published in April of 2019 about why she chose to get a chin implant, chest reduction, among other alterations. In the book, she would say it's one of the best things that she's ever done to this day, as it made her feel good about herself. She then went on to point out that her parents trusted her judgment to get the surgery done, and she was just desperate to have a bigger chin and a more defined jaw. While the star has experienced many ups and downs in her career, like being fired from Vanderpump Rules in 2020, she has still amassed an impressive amount of money, as she has an estimated net worth of $2 million. But if she didn't fork out $20,000 on plastic surgery and then more money on nurses while they would change her bandages every day, she would probably be worth more money than she is today. Number 5, Mama June Shannon. So back in 2020, Mama June, who is known as June Shannon, is a reality TV personality known for her family show, Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. Because she has spent more than a decade on television, you would assume that June wasn't exactly hurting for money, but that clearly isn't the case. As back in 2020, June would admit that she had to sell her house after going broke, and then it would also be known that the star spent her entire fortune not only on $75,000 worth of plastic surgery, but also on substances. She would also state that she was spending over $250,000 in 4 months because she spent a large part of her fortune that she made on reality TV on surgery, while partying with her ex-boyfriend. According to the Celebrity Net Worth, Mama June is now only worth $50,000, which would likely come to a shock to many since she's on reality TV and she's amassed quite a fan following in the past decade. Number 4, Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke used to be one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood, but thanks to his obsession with plastic surgery, the star is now completely unrecognizable after leaving Hollywood to become a boxer. Mickey had a pretty successful career, and he won 27 matches, including 12 knockouts and 3 defeats between 1964 to 1973. His return to the ring as a professional boxer in the 1990s also proved to be equally successful, as he remained undefeated in 8 fights and had 6 wins, including 4 knockouts and 2 draws. Unfortunately, his career choice also came with a string of severe facial injuries, as he had to face a broken nose twice, and he even had a compressed cheekbone, which caused the star to undergo several reconstructive surgeries to treat his boxing injuries. However, many of those surgeries failed to bring the actor the desired results and prompted him to go under the knife consistently, which caused him to lose a large chunk of his net worth. While the star is now worth $10 million, he is also in $50,000 worth of debt with Amex, and he is ranked up $70,000 in therapy bills. Number 3, Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson went from earning $6.6 million a year to being flat broke. While the star has been the subject of plastic surgery rumors many times over her decade-long career, the former TV star has also been mostly quiet about which procedures she has actually undergone since her debut in 1989. The star over the years has undergone through a series of plastic surgeries, from lip fillers fillers, nose jobs, and chest enlargement, which she had to fork out thousands of dollars. However, it wasn't just her trips to the doctors and her trips to the mall that caused Pamela to lose her entire fortune, as she would later become a tax delinquent after it was revealed that she owed over $450,000 in unpaid taxes, making the star now worth only $20 million, but it could have been more if she paid her bills and didn't spend all her money on plastic surgery and lavish spending. Number 2. Jocelyn Wildenstein. Former billionaire Jocelyn Wildenstein, known as Catwoman, went bankrupt with $0 in her account. Back in 2019, Jocelyn had to file for federal Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, and according to the New York Post, she listed her city bank account balance at $0 in the filing. She then would also note that she was only getting $900 a month in social security payments, which probably would have been avoidable if the star didn't spend over $4 million on plastic surgery. However, Jocelyn's love for plastic surgery has earned her the celebrity status she has today. The so-called socialite first started undergoing the knife because she wanted to please her ex-husband, as he had a thing for big cats. The star then proceeded to go through countless surgeries to land a cat-like look. While the star claims her debt came with divorce and it had nothing to do with her outrageous spending, I'm sure she didn't spend more than $4 million on surgery. She probably would still be a billionaire today, and she would be worth a lot more than $10 million. And coming at number 1 today, we have Janice Dickinson. Back in 2013, the Daily Mail would report that Janice Dickinson declared bankruptcy after she accumulated nearly $1 million in debt. The former judge on America's Next Top Model declared bankruptcy after racking up unpaid bills and doctor bills for plastic surgery procedures. Janice, who owed more than $8,000 to Vevert Hill dermatologist and also more than $8,000 in debt with a Beverly Hills anti-aging center, the former supermodel would also confirm the report later on Radar Online, where she stated she was eager to pay back her debt. On top of her plastic surgery debt, she was also in debt due to unpaid taxes, which equaled out to be more than $500,000. And she would also be accused of stealing $20,000 worth of jewelry at a charity fashion show during New York Fashion Week. Coming at number 10, we have Leah Michele. Back in December, Leah Michele started to go trending on Twitter after the internet started to troll her for her new chiseled facial appearance. When the funny girl actress posted a selfie comparing herself to Lucia, the beautiful working girl on The White Lotus, the internet was then quick to notice her resemblance to another trending character, which is a girl who has undergone buccal fat removal. The cosmetic procedure involved surgically removing fat between the cheekbones and the jawbones via incisions inside the mouth to highlight one's facial bone structure. While people have been doing the surgery for decades, it's currently all the rage with young celebrities and people on TikTok. It takes a normal looking girl and makes them look almost skeletal, which is pretty damaging to a younger person's image. While the surgery isn't everybody's cup of tea, I still don't understand why Hollywood girlies aren't trying to get rid of it and why they keep opting to do it, and it kinda made Leah Michele look more scary than her Rachel Berry days on Glee. Number 9, Khloe Kardashian. Khloe Kardashian has been pretty open about her physical transformation, and unlike her other sisters, she claimed that she has undergone plastic surgery more than once in her life. While the reality TV star isn't too outspoken when it comes to her past procedures, she has opened up once before about the reason behind her choice to undergo the knife. In a reunion episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Khloe revealed that she opted for a few cosmetic alterations by saying, "For me, everyone says, oh my gosh, she had a third face transplant, but I've had one nose job." Aside from her nose job, the Good American founder has also revealed she has done injections, but not really Botox because she responded horribly Botox. Khloe, like Kylie, has also gotten so much filler done at one point. She even went back 3 times to get it dissolved, but it still feels like the effects are still there. But for a while, the star did look a little scary with all that filler. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming at number 8, we have Priscilla Presley. Priscilla Presley was a legendary beauty, but when she underwent plastic surgery in the past, it left her with some unfortunate side effects. It would force her to come out and claim that she unknowingly had industrial low-grade silicone injected into her face by a doctor who wasn't even licensed to practice medicine in the United States. Priscilla was one of many victims who fell into the hands of Dr. Daniel Sarah Noes in 2008, a rep of the actress would share that an investigation which uncovered his misconduct ultimately led to his imprisonment. Miss Presley dealt with this matter years ago, and eventually everything is now well. Serrano, who was not licensed to practice medicine, would find himself being deported back to Argentina after serving 18 months in federal prison, after some of his injections caused lumps, paralysis, and holes in his client's face. But the work he did to Priscilla definitely had her wishing that she never underwent the surgery, and she never even tried to have it repaired as she was kind of scared it would do more harm than good. Number 7. Janice Dickinson. It's clear that Hollywood's obsession with plastic surgery is starting to get really scary. And if you look what happened to Janice Dickinson after she made an attempt to keep her youthful appearance, people would even start to confuse her with Caitlyn Jenner. After she had a botched procedure done, even according to celebrity plastic surgeon Dr. Anthony Yoon, Janice had every plastic surgery procedure there is. And that's not really hard to believe, as once the stunning model now looks like she is pure plastic. And I've seen her undergo some treatments on reality TV. Dr. Yoon would then jokingly add, "I believe she's undergone pretty much every facial plastic surgery there is, including a facelift, eye lift, lip injections, Botox, fat injections, a brow lift, and she's probably single-handedly paid for her plastic surgeon's house." Despite Janice going under the knife numerous times, Yoon said, while Janice doesn't look a whole lot like herself, she's holding up pretty well, and she's had quite a bit of help. In 2014, Janice would even admit when she was 32, or in the Jurassic era, that's when she had her first procedure done, and it included work to her chest, a tummy tuck, facelift, and Botox. At number 6, we have Linda Evangelista. The OG supermodel hasn't been seen in public for a while now, and in September 23rd, 2021, she would explain why. Linda revealed that she underwent cool sculpting, which she claims left her looking unrecognizable, as it allegedly caused her fat cells in her face to multiply, and she would say, "To my followers who have wondered why I have not been working while my peers' careers have been thriving, the reason is that I was brutally disfigured by a procedure which did the opposite of what it promised." She then went on to talk about the procedure's rare but serious side effects, and she said, "Not only did it destroy my livelihood, but it sent me into a cycle of depression, profound sadness, and lowest depths of self-loathing. In the process, I have become reclusive, and I'm so tired of living this way. I would like to walk out my door with my head held high despite not looking like myself any longer." However, if you look at photos from Linda from 2005 to now, before her procedure disfigured her famous face, the girl was stunning. And if you were looking to get plastic surgery done in the future, let this be a warning and just a reminder that you're beautiful just the way you look. Number 5, Mickey Rourke. Since the beginning of his career, Mickey Rourke has captured the news headlines every now and then, and one of the most talked about things about him is his face. Today, everyone knows Mickey to be an actor of repute who has starred in many successful movies over the years, but it is essential to understand that acting was not Mickey's first love, as he's a man who was in love with boxing, and he eventually became a professional boxer. And he did pretty well because he was unbeaten in all his fights, as he won and drew others. However, he endured a lot of injuries to his face, and some of these injuries were so severe that they threatened to ruin his good looks, so he opted to have cosmetic surgery to fix his face. However, the doctors he met to help him fix his face just ended up ruining it. His face today is now very different from what his fans had known it to be, and anytime he steps into the public, paparazzi just swarms his face. While the star has undergone different cosmetic surgeries to correct his face, it just keeps changing and it keeps renewing the public's interest. Number 4, Joan Rivers. Comedian Joan Rivers was famous for constantly changing her face. When the reality TV star passed away at the age of 81, her daughter Melissa would write a memoir, The Book of Joan, tales of mirth, mischief, and manipulation, as a tribute to her mother. In it, Melissa would reveal that Joan had a staggering 348 cosmetic operations over her life, and she was never happy with the way she looked, which fed into her sense of being less than. Joan Rivers' tragic passing was caused after she had complications following her surgery after the comedian never recovered from a loss of oxygen to her brain during surgery. Her daughter would then be able to sue the clinic for malpractice. It would be noted that Joan went into the hospital after she scheduled an EGD. However, reports then showed another procedure, a nasolaryngoscopy, which was performed twice by an ENT doctor not privileged to perform that procedure at Yorkville, and Rivers was never informed or consented to that procedure. Number 3. Donatella Versace. Donatella Versace's designs for Versace may have sparked thousands of copycats, but there is no danger of a woman following suit when it comes to Donatella Versace's new look. 30 years ago, the fashion guru had naturally full lips and smooth skin, but today her face is striking for all the wrong reasons, as she has now turned herself into a real-life human waxwork doll after she overdid Botox and added too much filler to her cheeks and lips. Not to mention, the businesswoman has also had a facelift and eyes and brow lift. And if you look at her face, you can tell that her eyelids are like a little droopy because she had some bad Botox, and that's why they look droopy. It's also been said that she looks like she may have had some filler added to her earlobes, as they looked very stretched. Dr. David Rappaport has also provided a timeline of Donatella's alleged procedures, where he would point out that it seems clear that the designer has had a facelift, as she has a scar that you can see on her temple areas, and she has a fine linear scar from it. He would also note that her hairline has been lifted too high and it shouldn't end that high above her ears, but this could also indicate that she's gone under the knife for more than one procedure. Number 2. Carrot Top. Comedian king of props Scott Carrot Top Thompson has had to deal with a lot of plastic surgery rumors and before and after surgery photos, but despite the hundreds of sources saying he underwent the knife to change his looks, the comedian says he hasn't had work done on him, but it's clearly just a lie. So Carrot Top is one of these most successful comedians from the late 90s and 2000s. Aside from comedy, one of the most talked about topics whenever Carrot Top is brought up is about his looks, and people start to debate whether the star has had plastic surgery done or not. Although various sources have tried exploring his transformation to put an answer to the question, the comedian still continues to deny all the rumors that revolve around him undergoing the knife to change his looks. And to this day, the comedian still has to deal with plastic surgery rumors, as the media has been swamped with before and after photos of the star. Many have even compared his transformation to plastic surgery disasters, and some professionals have even commented on it, such as Dr. Anthony Yoon, who pointed out that the comedian has definitely had laser treatments or chemical peels, and he even commented on Carrot Top's appearance by saying he looks more like a muscle-bound cartoon character. Number 1. Little Kim. Little Kim is undoubtedly one of the brightest, most influential women in hip-hop, yet her legacy remains controversial for one reason or the other. It seems like the star is constantly being thrown in front of the media since the beginning of her career for her ever-changing face. In 2005, Kim would even go on a radio show to explain that she had broken her nose after getting into an altercation with her ex-boyfriend, and she had to get surgery done to fix her nose, and then she would go back to her boyfriend, get hurt again, and it would reel her into a tangle of insecurities and self-loathing. Kim was so tired of lying about her injuries and burying her bruises in makeup that she thought it would be better to get professional work done and wipe those physical markings away once and for all. And then after, she would get more surgeries done by her own choice, as she was facing insecurities after her boyfriends kept cheating on her with European women with long hair.
Number 10. Madonna. What is there to say about this woman's career? Madonna has been stuck in our heads since we first heard her hits like Material Girls and Crazy for You. What may have also gotten stuck in your head though was just how gorgeous this woman once was. In the 1980s, Madonna was well known for her stylish duds and big blonde hair, at times channeling some serious Marilyn Monroe energy. It was unfortunate that Madonna felt the need to fall into the world of plastic surgery and injections as she got older. Photo comparisons from the 80s to now showcase the major changes, with her forehead appearing to be pushed out, as well as her cheeks and her lips being filled with enough Botox to give her the appearance of someone wearing a mask of Madonna over their own face. What's more is this combination seems to have molded her eyes into the almond shape of the cat. Fans have always been left wondering what she may have looked like if she never got any surgery. Would she still be a material girl, or would that material be riddled with stain? Number 9. Kendall Jenner. There have been rumors about the Kardashian crew getting cosmetic surgery since the moment that they first appeared on our screens. Each and every member of that family are accused of having either a nose job or cheek fillers, but Kendall has one noticeable difference that stands out from the rest. In side-by-sides, Kendall's eyes are actually a little bit larger than they once were, as well as more almond-shaped. Several doctors have chimed in online and claimed that there is no way she could have achieved this look by simply using cosmetics, unless they have some kind of a magical substance that yanks your face back, but it probably exists, but that's still very suspicious. Number 8. Bella Hadid. Bella is actually one of the main reasons that this surgery has become so popular. When you compare photos of Bella 10 years ago to ones taken this year, it's night and day. Not only have her cheeks noticeably shrunken and become more toned, but her eyes are more almond-shaped and cat-like. Bella was one of the first people to openly admit to receiving the treatment as a way to further enhance her already obvious beauty. Bella has been drenched in plastic surgery rumors for a long time. In 2018, she clapped back at her so-called haters, telling them that she was horrified of what plastic surgery may do to her face. While cat eye is not considered to be plastic surgery, it's still an invasion of one of the most sensitive areas of your face. But I guess that's okay. As long as nothing gets injected into her eyeball, everything's fine. Number 7. Selena Gomez. The former Wizards of Waverly Place star has been dodging surgery rumors left and right for a very long time. Fans have noticed her face changing over the years. The side-by-sides from her Disney days show drastic changes in her facial features. Not only does she clearly have some kind of a cheek filler, but her eyes are much more cat-like than the original form. Selena has admitted to using skincare products in the past designed to enhance features without the need of invasive surgery. However, no foundation on this earth can give Selena the features that she currently possesses. It comes as no surprise that Selena is actually a spokesperson for several beauty and cosmetic brands and has adamantly denied that she has received any kind of major surgeries. She's been shutting down rumors left and right for a very long time, even deleting photos from Instagram because they received such massive slews of negative comments. While it's never been confirmed if she actually received any work, just watching her on screen these days is enough to prove that the young Alex Russo we once knew has vanished into thin air. Number 6. Nicki Minaj. When it comes to Nicki Minaj and plastic surgery, she only has one response. What's good? No, she just denies it. Rumors have been flying around since the moment she first appeared on our screens and stages. Over the years, fans claim to have inside information that Nicki has received cheek implants, both in her face and her backside, with one of her closest friends turning on her in 2013 and claiming that she was given the 411 on the big old buns. But as with many things involving her looks, Nicki denies any enhancements of any kind. However, it doesn't take a super sleuth to realize that she has totally received some kind of work on her face. Side-by-sides show that Nicki did not have naturally shaped almond eyes when she first appeared on our screens. She may have never confirmed the surgery with her lips, but most certainly did with her eyes, because they're not the right shape now. Number 5. Ariana Grande. We have accepted that the former Nickelodeon star may have had some subtle procedures such as fillers or maybe even a rhinoplasty done. The jury's still out on whether or not she's had a nose job, as Ariana has never confirmed this and actually went as far to denying it on Twitter, although she does have a habit of sometimes editing her nose on Instagram, so it's kind of wishy-washy. We can't ignore the changes that we have seen in the past few years. The Santa Tell Me singer has been rumored to have had even more cosmetic procedures towards the end of 2022, causing her to look almost unrecognizable. The redhead that we all loved on Victorious and Sam and Cat seems to be a totally different person now. Ariana's eyes are more almond shaped, and she now has dimples in her cheeks when she smiles that she just never used to have. Ariana has never confirmed if she's received the surgery or not, but the face that we all knew and loved is hidden behind this new Ariana. Number 4. Kim Basinger. The 69-year-old actress and former model's face has looked suspiciously smooth and wrinkle-free in recent years, leaving many to believe that she's had some work done. A few years ago, a plastic surgeon named Dr. Omar Tillo weighed in on it to express his side, and he said that he thinks that she's received Botox, cat eye surgery, and dermal fillers. He claimed that if you look at previous photos, you can see apparent lines and wrinkles around Kim's eyes. These could be treated with anti-wrinkle chemical injectables such as Botox. She also has clear lines around her mouth, which could be the result of being smoothed out with dermal fillers. Kim's skin also seems to be fresher with a more even complexion. This could be due to several factors such as laser treatments. A second expert named Reza Nizab agreed and added that he believed she might have also had a fat transfer or a facelift. This could explain the almond-shaped eyes behind the massive cheeks. Back in 2012, Kim's daughter, Ireland Baldwin, insisted that her mother had not received any plastic surgery while calling her the most naturally beautiful woman there ever was or will be. Ladies, if you want to avoid Botox and any other skin treatment, he said, ladies, if you want to avoid Botox or other skin treatments, listen to my mom. She hasn't had one treatment done because she stayed completely out of the sun all these years. Yeah, she wrote that on Instagram. I don't think that's true. Kim herself has never actually addressed the speculation surrounding her looks, but number 3, Renee Zellweger. When we first met Renee in the cult classic Empire Records, she was a baby face with bangs and brown lipstick, but nowadays she is unrecognizable. After making a name for herself starring as Bridget Jones, she continued to star in several comedies and romantic flicks alongside performers like Jim Carrey, Keanu Reeves, and Tom Cruise. In 2019, she reinvented herself, appearing on the show What If on Netflix. Fans were shocked to see the differences between her 90s glory and her current state. Her eyes were noticeably smaller, her cheeks were more pronounced, and according to several sources, she had received cat eye surgery a few years back to help combat the effects of aging. What it accidentally did was make it so that Renee always looked like she's squinting. While she delivered a solid performance on the show, fans were distracted by the stiff facial features of their main actor. Number 2, Catherine Zeta-Jones. When she attended the premiere of Entrapment in June 1999, she had the beginnings of crow's feet, especially when she smiled, but as the years went by, it seemed like the crow's feet vanished into thin air. By the time this past year rolled around and she made a return to the mainstream starring as Morticia Addams in the Netflix series Wednesday, she was a completely different human being. Her skin was so smooth and her eyes were smaller than they once were, looking exactly like you would picture a person with fresh cat eye surgery to look. Catherine was rumored to have received surgery after she was photographed entering a clinic in Beverly Hills. She's never actually confirmed that she received this specific surgery, but it's pretty impossible to hide the obvious changes in the shape and condition of your face. Number 1, Jocelyn Wildenstein. This New York socialite is no stranger to the world of media. Ever since the mid-1990s, she's been famous around the world for being a literal cat woman, having received so many plastic surgeries that she now resembles a cat. I don't know, she looks more like a lion to me, but lion woman doesn't have as nice of a ring to it. Her journey started with the titular cat eye surgery, but it was just the first in many steps to get that perfect face. According to her friends and family, the surgeries were not intended to give her a Barbie-like face, but rather that of a lynx, which had apparently been her pet for a while. While she wasn't famous for a long time, it was the photos that were shared following her divorce from husband Alec that got her into the mainstream. Most of the attention was drawn to her looks, and she was quickly dubbed the Catwoman by the entire world. Despite being worth millions of dollars, Jocelyn has faced financial struggles over the past few years, and at one point even being sued by American Express for owing them $70,000 in credit. Her cat eyes may be trapped behind a massive layer of plastic and silicone, but they will always be the first step taken down the rocky road.